We addicted to fast cars, bad bras, late nights, last calls, alcohol, bad. Just scrolling through the phone log, hit 'em up, all my pick 'em up. We bout to have a time tonight. Sure you keep that burner tuck, cause niggas like to creep low. Say motherfuck the P.O. and the judge. But if they come with us, just know it's love. I'm saying just because. Yeah. Cause we been coming from welfare, medical, healthcare. Living in the hood is hell here, hell yeah. I'm saying just because. Love. I watched my mama and my daddy struggle with the bottle. I watched my cousins and my brother banged out full throttle. Driver's seat, we bout that action, we ain't sitting idle. And even when they melanated, still a rival. I ain't about killing, but I'm about survival. And we be praying to the Lord, but still ain't read the Bible. And put that pedal to the floor with a savage title. Hope we don't crash out. Shawty out, seeking attention, she got out.
What is freezing? Does he know you using that?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is the Black Man Unfiltered Network, and I am your host, JT. I'm the guest host for Mandrill and Shushu. Unapologetic is this the name of this segment here. I welcome everybody that's coming in. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that share. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Man, we're going to have a good show tonight. If you notice, the title says, Our Kids Have No Respect for Us. How did we let this happen? We're definitely going to be having a conversation about that. What's going to drive this conversation would be a small snippet of a video that I'll be showing. Everybody's been talking about it. You got the rapper T.I. Supposedly him and his son had a fight. We already know that's not a goddamn fight. It's not a fight. But it was a family split. And that's all it was, y'all. But I do want to have a conversation because it seems like it's an epidemic that we have going on here. Lady Navarre, what's going on, sis? What's happening with you? Lipstick vibes, red lipstick vibes. What's going on, girl? I'm glad to see you guys here. Make sure you hit that like button, everybody, when you come up in here. Shout out to my homeboy, CBN, Black Man Unfiltered, as he comes off of his birthday, small hiatus. But yeah, y'all, we definitely gonna have this conversation, man. It's just right now I'm seeing the epidemic, and I know you guys see the epidemic. Children putting their parents on blast. It's starting to be. It's like it's catching fire, man. It's crazy how everything is going on right now. I was looking at the video with King Harris, T.I.'s son, and I seen a couple of things in the video. I seen that the young man was frustrated, and probably to the naked eye, he didn't look frustrated. He looked like, everybody's writing him off, saying he's crazy. He got problems. He needs help. We already know he does need help. He's definitely very disrespectful. But, these things kind of stem from something. And that's what I want to do. I want to be able for us to have that conversation on where do you think these things are stemming from when it comes down to, as a whole, the children of today, Gen Zs, some millennials. And I know we can put them in there also. Is it because of poor parenting, or is it something else a little more deeper than that? We'll definitely be talking about that. I also have another video, you guys, that I just want to show. I'm not going to show the whole video, but I want you to get some feedback on you guys. Also, this might be my first video that I'm gonna show on a son that was from the LGBT community, and his father was kicking him off. I just saw this video. I had downloaded this video a long time ago, long time ago, a couple of years ago, on a father kicking his son out. So that's what it appears. I'm not sure if it is a real video, but this seems like it was kind of like the beginning of this whole thing on putting your parents on blast on social media type of thing. Definitely want to get some feedback from you guys on that part. Also, I couldn't get the video up from the Boosie. I think that one is more traumatic than all of them, because I think I can get corrected if you guys can correct me, but I think the one with T.I. and his son is something that can be more fixed with the family, because it seems like his wife is pretty much, they have a solid front with them too when it comes down to those kids. So yeah, that's the thing with that, man. I had another video I was going to show, but I'm not going to show it. I'm just going to I think Blackman already had dropped a link for anyone that wants to come up later on after I let these videos go, and then we can just go ahead and get a reaction off of it, have a conversation off of it, and then we'll get our ass up out of here. You dig? So right now, I think what I'm gonna do is I will show this first video with this young man. I don't know what I was intended on doing this for, but I downloaded this. It was about probably 3 years ago. Bring this up here. And I don't know. Matter of fact, like David, if you can, sir, could you put a poll up to see if the father or the son is in the wrong? Just put a poll up. Do you know how to do that in the YouTube? Well, scrap it. Black man knows how to do it. Black man knows how to do it. So if Black man is if he's there, if he can put that poll up in there. I also want to give a shout out to the people that's on the What We Know side. Also, okay, got you. I got you. On the What We Know side, don't forget on that side also hit the like button. Also, folks, but I'm gonna go ahead and start this video off, and you guys tell me what you think.
I get up every morning, I go to work. I pay my half the bills. Every month I go help with you on the bills. Everything paid. What's the reason? Look at this. I come home and you packing my stuff for what? You going through my drawers, you in my room. What are you doing? You tell me why. What are you doing? What do you mean what I'm doing? What you mean? Why are you recording me? Because I want the people to see how I'm being treated. You're not telling me the reason. You're not telling me the reason though. You can't be really telling me. You can't be really telling me the reason though. Tell me the reason why you put me out. You keep saying the company I keep. Yeah. I got the same two friends I've been having. Yeah, but they're running through my house. You're coming in. What's the reason though? What's the? You don't care about it. Is it because I'm not a basketball player? Is it because I'm not a football player, Daddy? I didn't make you proud. Like,
if you guys notice, and we typically see this happening when you have someone from this community asking questions, the father is absolutely telling him exactly why he's kicking him out the house. He's telling him. And he keeps saying, is it because I'm not a basketball player? Is it because I'm not the son that you want? And his father is telling him, no, it's because you're coming in the house all times of the night. You coming in the house, not respecting me, but he still goes on, well, making it up in his mind. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this is what we've been experiencing. This is why we say, look, you go over there, y'all go over here. But this is what it is: a father and a son.
Come on. Like, look at this. This is ridiculous. Look at this. Look how you treating me, though.
You're talking
Look how
about
you,
under my roof. You're a disgrace to the family. You're disrespectful to me.
What you mean?
You're not what I've been raising, what I used to be raising. You're a whole nother person.
What are you talking about? Oh, it's a surprise.
Get your thing.
You don't have to touch my stuff.
I'm
You don't have to
very
touch my stuff.
shocked.
You don't have to touch my stuff.
I'm very
You ain't
shocked.
even telling me the reason, though. I want you to be real. You say you're a man, be real, and tell me why you put me out.
Right now?
I do. I go half with you on the
right
bills.
now, man.
I go half with you on the bills. What's the reason?
I need you out of here.
You're not telling me the reason.
This is crazy, man. This is crazy. This is where I like I said, I was trying to figure out. I was definitely trying to figure out what show was I planning on doing when I did this here. But it fit this show 100 because we're just starting to see a lot of this going on. If he had a problem with his father, he could have just been man enough to talk to his father off camera. But this is that whole thing where we talk about victimhood. This is that race to victimhood. The man is telling him exactly what it is that he doesn't want from him. That's why he told him, you got to get up out of here. The things I told you, he's talking about, he's going half on a rent. There's no half on a rent if it's not your house. Not your house.
Get out of here, man.
What's the reason, though?
Or is there a ride? Is there a lift? Is there a
I'm not going nowhere till you tell me a valid reason why you
Where's
put
my
me
phone?
out.
I'm going to make a call.
You don't
man.
have to
Somebody
keep
gotta
touching
come
my
and get
stuff.
man.
You don't have to keep touching my stuff.
Can you get those things out of here?
Tell me the reason. Don't throw my stuff on the floor. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Get out of
Don't
here,
do that.
man.
Now you're doing
Get
too
out
much.
of here.
You're doing too much. You're not telling me the reason, though.
I'll get you out of here. You're going to get
If I have to leave, I need my half of the bill. If I have to leave, I need my half of the bill. You're not telling me nothing.
Turn it off.
You're not
You know why?
Why?
Get
Tell
out
me
of
the
here.
reason.
Don't put that on
What's
me,
the
man.
reason?
You're the reason.
Half my stuff all over the floor. You ain't even like, what's the
Get this
reason?
out of here. Get this out of here.
What'd you say, Black David? He's practicing. Yeah, that's that shit that they got going on with that damn emotional intelligence. If y'all don't get the fuck out of here with that goddamn shit. Emotional intelligence.
You don't have to touch my stuff. You don't have to get my stuff. You don't. I can get my own stuff. You don't have to do that.
That's right, man.
You're not telling me the reason, though. What's the reason?
I need you out of here.
What's the reason? Why are you putting me out?
I swear to God, he told him what the reason was. He told him what the
You
reason
in
was.
my room, you invading my privacy, you going through my drawer, you taking out my clothes,
No privacy.
you throwing them all over the floor, you putting them back to the
What
floor.
about the family privacy? What about our privacy?
Why you keep bringing the family up? This is between me and you. I just want you to know, I just want you to address the issue. What's really the issue? I never took the issue. I never.
We are set up, man. This whole hookup has gotten us looking like idiots. I hate it. Irritates the hell out of me, man, when I see someone speaking to somebody, but they're looking in the camera. That looks so damn crazy. I have no idea on why people don't even understand how stupid they actually look. Take heed to the message. Hey, sis, what's going on? Hassan, what's going on, brother? Dr. Nakumbe, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Dr. Nakumbe said,
I never
You disrespecting me now.
How?
You're putting
yeah, doc, I can't stand that, man. Somebody's looking in the camera while they're talking to the other person. It looks crazy. It looks very crazy.
people in our business. You're recording me. Get out of my house, man.
I want people to see how I'm being treated all of a sudden. All of a sudden. I guess it was a surprise. I guess it was a shock into the family. I guess that's what it was. That's what it was.
If you guys just tuning in, man, we're just looking at a video right now of a father and his son going through this whole thing of him kicking his son out and his son putting him on blast like somebody can save him from being evicted. It's crazy.
Well, just be real and tell me the reason, though. You're not telling me anything. You're not telling me nothing. You don't have to keep touching my stuff.
Get out of here.
I can get my own stuff. You don't have to touch my stuff.
I need you out of here. Get your things out of here. Get your things out of here, man.
You know what? I'm gonna get somebody to come get me. I'm gonna call me a lift or something. I got it. Don't touch my stuff.
Let's go.
Don't touch. This is ridiculous. I don't have to.
All right, folks. That was it. Let me move this down here. That's the craziest part about it. This guy, his father was telling him to go. He looks at least 24, 25 years old. And one of the things that he's trying to do, and this is what I was getting at, where I was on my man Freezy show yesterday, and we were talking about the relationships between fathers and their kids, whether it's a son or a daughter. It seems more and more these children it's like they don't have any respect for their parents at all. My question would be, is it the fault of the parent? For instance, that's why I had to use the T.I. and King situation. I mean, it's many more, but you have a son that's out here, and you can see that he has issues. But for him to want to put his family, especially because his dad is, famous, his mom is famous, and their family actually is famous, but to put them in danger by putting all of their business out there. Is it something, do you think it's something that T.I. did wrong, Tiny did wrong, in the premise of raising the children? Or do you think this epidemic is based off of their peers? It's like they're doing every time something catchy comes up, they have to do it, and it's just getting more and more and more, and vastly like a trend. And in my case, and not in my case, but in the way I'm looking at it is that I think it's a dangerous trend. I think it's a very dangerous trend. But if you guys want to come up, have the conversation, I'm gonna be posing a couple of more questions. I think I got my boy Arpain back here. Let me see. Uh-oh.
What's up?
What's up, Arpain, man? What's going on with you, brother?
All right. I saw the just a little bit of the video, but I know about the T.I. situation and his son. Yeah, everything's cool. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. This your first panel you've been on, or was you out there on a tour today?
No, I've been surfing things. I put a new video on my channel and a couple other things. I had an issue with that Malika Andrews not saying anything about that dude, Josh Giddey.
Yeah, I saved it. I saved that video. I'm gonna definitely look at that later on. Absolutely.
Yeah. But other than that, man, I've been around, man, just chilling for the day. I didn't nothing special.
Okay.
Just roaming. I'm doing a little bit of roaming, watching some video. My sister wants me to watch this movie. She keeps getting on my case until I see it. So I'm looking at this movie on Netflix so we can talk about it, So I gotta, even your sisters, you gotta placate the women no matter what, man. So even if they sisters.
Yeah.
She said, I don't want to talk to you unless you see the movie and shit so we can talk about it, I mean, no matter what, man, women always want to put some tax on your life, God damn it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To get some compensation. They got to.
So, it's not that bad of a flick, man. A fair play, whatever. But
okay. Yes, sir. Hey, let me ask you a question. Have you seen the movie Napoleon yet?
The movie Napoleon? With the real Napoleon?
Yes. About the dictator, Napoleon.
I've seen other renditions of it, but if there's something recent, I haven't watched it.
Yeah, this one is brand new. It's out in theaters. I'm not sure. I know I put it on my Apple TV.
Okay.
For it to pop up because it's an Apple movie. It's Apple Vision movie or whatever they call it, but Apple has it, so it's going to be.
So it's on Apple Plus.
Apple Plus, yep. I don't know if it's on there yet, but you know how you can just once it comes on and it pop up and they alert you that it's on. So I got that right there. What's going on to my man Trey?
What's good?
What's going on?
Good.
Not much, man. I like that. I like that avatar right there. That's kind of dope right there, man.
Yeah, but he doctored that shit up, man, because that don't look like the real thing.
Are you talking about my supernatural powers there, RP?
I'm just trying to say, it's like it's a real avatar, that's who he was, that's who he wish he was. That's what's happening.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you guys seen you said Arpain, you saw you saw a little bit of the video that I just put up there?
Yeah, the saucy dude with the damn eyelashes and shit.
Yes.
Yeah, get the hell out of my house, goddammit. Get out.
Yeah, I had that video.
I saw that video a while back as well.
Yeah, it was a while back, and it was a show that I was gonna do, and I can't remember what show it was, but I remember downloading that, and I looked at it, I said, "Oh man, I need to go ahead and use this right here." What's going on, Doc?
Nothing much. I can't call it. How about yourself? Good to see you guys. Hello to those in the chat. What's going on?
You got the best hand.
Man. Yeah, that dude had to go, man. All that chaos and it's only between you and I. It's only between you and that's crazy. That to me, that the whole thing's a setup. Like, what's the game? He knew why he had to leave. He knew.
That's right.
Absolutely. I mean, even when the father was laying the list down, he was telling him exactly why he had to leave. He was still like, "Well, is it because?" And he was saying everything except for what his father.
That's why these skits are bad. That's why this is why some of these skits are bad, because they're skirting around the issue. You gotta leave because you're so zesty. I can't take the shit no more.
Yeah.
And it sounded like that wasn't his first. It sounded like he knew. Like it wasn't his first time hearing it.
Right.
So it's not like it was a surprise. It was not our first time talking about it.
Right. Absolutely. It's like now, and that's why Arpain, when I did it, I was like, I don't know if this thing is real or not, right? Because they wasn't like now, you see it. They got everything is a skit now. Everything is, but back, this was like what, 3 or 4 years ago.
It's been a while.
It's been a while since that one was there. I think that one was one of the real ones, because that one was also it was another one where a woman had supposedly been kicking her boyfriend or husband out because he was buying some shoes for his son.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
So all of those was kind of like around the same time.
So Jay, yeah. You know what, JT, what I do is I assume all of those are a skit. But if the message is good, it's worth discussing.
Right. That's what I speak to.
That's if the message is decent, it's worth discussion. But I always just default to them being a skit. That's why I can't stand the acting. Give me a good skit. Real good. Right? Like the paternity test one where the guy's doing all the talking. If you found out your wife had a baby by another man, you ain't doing all that goddamn talking. And she's telling you, man, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? No. Get the hell out of my crib, man.
Right. Yeah. So, the thing was with on the T.I. situation, it's crazy because they were at a Falcons 50th, and he did he performed and all of this, and I think King did too. I think he did too. And what seemed like it was just what family do. It was kind of like, how you can have people, one generation arguing with the other generation. It was like this, and that's what it kind of seemed like. But I think he took it very personal because him and T.I. they've been having this dance for a very long time. They've been having it since he was about 9 years old. So, you know, even when they were on, I think it was called the Harris Business, Harris Family, whatever that reality show was, he definitely stood out. And he was that child that they had to spend more time with. And he was his grandmother's child. So he wasn't a bad child. It was just the fact that now that he's older, what was cute is no longer cute anymore. And I think it's just what I kind of looked at yesterday, because I talked about this with Freezy also, and I was just thinking that it was a mixture of you know, flaws that parents do, but I think it's something else that was probably undiagnosed, or something that was unresolved within that child that they just, I think they either blew it off or they're probably still working with it. One of the things I was looking at also, because I'm looking at the time that T.I. himself spent with his son. He spent a lot of time with that guy. That was the son that he was in the studio with. That was the son that he was getting promotions with. And the way that he was doing it he wasn't giving it to him. Because the first son that wanted that type of attention, that said they want to be a rapper and all that, that was his older son. I don't know if that was the oldest, but it was one of his older sons. And he told him, you can't get it because you're my son. You need to get it, you know, as if yeah, I'm gonna give you the help and all of that, but because you're my son, you can't do that in this game. So it looked like he was teaching them how to go out and get it the way that they need to get it, and he's gonna give them the help. Now the other two, one is a rapper and the other one is a musician. They're fairly successful right now. And I think the daughter is also. King would be, but it was just that's just the child. That's how I looked at it. Like, this is that child right there. Now we got to get some. I don't think it's, because it just didn't seem like, and this is just in my opinion, man. It did not seem like T.I. and them neglected him. I think they just lost. They lost right now. What do you guys think?
Trey, I know you talk about when you show up at homes, like domestic calls.
Yeah.
You say you see a difference between, like, my dad won't let me, my mom won't let me, they're being unfair to me, to now it seems like there's this shift. I don't know if you've seen it, but now it seems like the shift where regardless if the parents are mean to them, it's like they're just this entitlement, and it's past a certain age. I'm used to like preteens or mid-teens feeling treated unfair, but these grown ass men talking like this. I don't know if you notice a difference, Trey, when I hear you talking about going into homes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of adult men now running around with a sense of entitlement based on the childhood they had. And, you know, I think entitled people come from lack of hardship and lack of challenges throughout their life. I think hardships and challenges have a way of humbling you when you realize what you really have to put forth to actually get where you want to go in life. And I think when you look at the T.I.s of the world, you look at his sons, you know, I question how many challenges and hardships they've ever had in their life. He's been on TV since he was a child. He's been rich since he was born. So, and when I say hardships and challenges, I mean that if you don't do this, you know, you may not eat. If you don't do this, you know, your lights are going to be cut off, or you may not have hot water for a week. I'm talking about real challenges. I'm not talking about, you know, my mama didn't let me, you know, go to this party tonight, and, you know, I snuck out and then I got caught. That's not what I'm talking about. But I think what happens is that, like with any sort of fungus, you know, this entitlement fungus, it only gets bigger as they get older if you don't treat it while they're younger. And so what you get when you get a king who's older now, can make his own money, he has his own social media, he has his own following. Well, that fungus is taking over his entire body now. So what are you going to tell him now? What are you going to tell him now? To not be entitled? Michael Irvin had the same issue. His son was talking about being a thug and a rapper. And Michael Irvin's like, you grew up in a gated community. What are you talking about? You've been rich since you were born. You know what I mean? So, I agree with you, Doc. There's a lot of we're talking about grown adult men. We're not talking about children anymore. You used to get the 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, but we're talking about adult men who have a sense of entitlement. And then what I see is it carries over into their dating life, right? Because even the women are like, what the hell's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I don't want that. I don't want that from a man. You know what I mean? so and entitled men, listen, I'm all for arrogant men if you've earned it. Because to me, if you earned it, you've earned the right to be arrogant. You worked to get to that point. It's not easy getting master's and doctor's degrees. It's not easy making $1 million. So you have the right to some degree to be arrogant because you earned it. But what we're seeing is a lot of these kids whose parents are rich, whose parents earned it. Now they feel as though they can be what their parents are. Well, you didn't earn it. It was given to you. You're a trust fund baby.
Well, so what we're seeing is another case of a privileged kid born to two parents who didn't teach him anything, who may have been so busy. Look at T.I. was a couple of times in and out of jail. The mother used to be a singer too, so she was a celebrity, right? Because Escape at one point had a couple of hit records. And, so did they really teach him anything, or did they just put him into the house of privilege and just let them see how they grow? I don't know how much discipline they ever gave any of their kids, and left up to their own devices. Kids will grow up differently. That nobody else has to be as spoiled as this guy, but that if you have 6 kids, some of them are going to need more attention than others. I mean, and 2 kids, right? One might need a lot of attention, another one might not. But what you mentioned the thing about Michael Irving's son, but that's not the only exception. Look at 50 Cent's son. Look at all these. I mean, there's I guess a psychology or a psychopathy or whatever you would call it about kids to privileged parents who don't act like parents. Just because they're there, just because they have money, doesn't mean they spent the time parenting, because they might have offloaded that shit to other people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this, because I know you talk about how you raised your kids and how you do like financial planning, getting them prepared. I know Mr. Bennett talks about that. So let's go with T.I. not being involved in his son's life. I think there's a difference between raising your child as what I call like punk parent syndrome, or totally unaware, let them do whatever, and then they snap out on you like, why are you treating me that way? Versus, I haven't raised you, but that doesn't mean you don't have no goddamn common sense, and you don't come at me no grown-ass man. So I think there's still a difference between poor parenting and no parenting at all, and you coming at me as a grown man.
No, I agree with you. I'm not arguing that, but things are on the margins. One of the things that I think about, I don't know, Trey has a kid, JT has a kid. You have any kids, Doc?
Yeah, I've been successful a few times, Mason. Yeah.
The point I'm saying is sometimes when raising kids, it's like serendipity, being in the right place at the right time to teach a lesson. I mean, some things you do on purpose, some things you get to do just because you're there. I have stories, right? We don't have to go down the whole path, but one day my daughter was saying that this boy wanted her to take her he wanted her to pay for his way to a movie. And we were at a dinner table, everybody. I said, listen, I'm going to talk to you a little later. And I told her, I said, don't you ever take my money and give it to no goddamn nigga. I didn't say nigga, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I ain't giving you no money. So if that guy wants to hang out with you, he's paying. I don't care if he got to selling bottle caps and all that. Because the only vision I had when she said that was my daughter working and some goddamn N-word is on a couch while she's going out there working. That shit flashed in my mind. I said, don't you ever think. I said, that goes for girls too. I said, if they don't want to be your friend because you ain't paying, let the door hit them on the ass. 6 months later, she says, Dad, you might not think I don't listen to you, but I got all the girls thinking the same way. I told them, don't you ever pay, and she says, yeah, but now we tell these guys to get lost. I didn't say, there you go. There you go. I mean, so sometimes you just got to be there. If I wasn't there, she wouldn't have anybody to say that to for me to fix that. things happen. But go ahead, Chuck.
You also got to remember when these, with these wealthy entertainers, the parents aren't raising them, the grandparents are maybe raising them. You look at the Kardashians, the nannies raising them, or somebody else outside of the parents are raising them. But one of the things I had to fight against when I found out I was having a girl was that I wasn't going to say no to her, right? Like I had to fight against that. I'm going to spoil her. This is my baby. You know what I mean? I'm a spoiler, and I'm not going to say no. And I'm going to, and then I think it took for maybe one slight little bit of attitude she gave me maybe at 3 or 4 years old. And I went, ah, you know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, now you just made it easy for me to tell you no. Thank you. Because up until then, you couldn't do no wrong. You know what I mean? You could do no wrong. But once I realized, no, even my daughter will try me. At 5, she will try me. I think a lot of times if you're not there, and I forgot who said, I think R. Payne who said it, being in prison, for your gun charges, and then your mama is a part of a very successful R&B group, right? They're not there to tell their kids no. So who telling them no? When King want to go out at 15 and go play with his friends, go fake like he's tough, who's telling them no? Who's there to tell these kids no when daddy got to go make the money and mommy's working too? Who is there? There's nobody there to sort of drive home that discipline, and it shows. It shows in how he speaks to his mother, how he speaks to his father. It shows in his reaction. It shows in his videos that he posts. I don't always agree with my mom, and me and my mom have had some serious words, but there's only a certain level that I will go to before it just becomes utter and complete total disrespect. And I won't cross that line. But I'll say what I need to say. I just find a clever way of saying it, right? But I won't disrespect my mother and my grandmother, anybody that had a hand in raising me. But I think you can see from a lot of these guys at 17, 18, 19 years old, there is no level of respect for their parents. It's not there. It's not there. And a lot of it is because the parents weren't there for them.
Right. First of all of y'all can leave and get off my show. I didn't invite y'all here. Well, Doc, you can stay. But JT, right. JT, get the fuck out. Our pain, goodbye. Everybody can go.
Hey! Don't start.
I didn't invite y'all here.
Don't start that right now, okay?
You know what?
Get off my show.
How about you have?
Don't start right now.
How about you humble yourself and say thank you?
I am humble. First of all, I don't have to be straight. I don't be humble on my show. This is my time slot. Okay.
Right. Really?
No one commandeers. Make a point to JT's one point
right now.
To JT's point, you had asked earlier, is it the not quoting you, but is it the upcoming or upbringing, or is it influence? And I think what Trey just spoke to, can you imagine you raised your kid and they had some temper tantrums and some entitlement, but as an adult, they're being influenced by certain messages and they feel like they have the right because the masses, they believe all the TikToks and all the so-and-so, this is the way I'm supposed to be. And I totally ignore how you raised me or didn't raise me, but I'm influenced and I believe this is the way I have the right to challenge you. And I don't know if you noticed that some of these arguments that these kids are having is like some agenda they're pushing, right? Some mission, some belief that they have based on social media or somebody else told them they should do.
Yeah. That's what I was, that's one of the things that I was looking at. Cause I'm like, wait a minute. It's starting to just, I mean, I would never have even guessed that, some of these parents, children would have been that disrespectful. I think that it is more of a social media trend and they're just trying to one up one another when it comes down to it. When I saw, even with Boosie, I can understand why. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Boosie's relationship with his daughter. It's way more, it's toxic. But I understand how that got to be because it unfolded because of her mother and his relationship. And it stemmed from her brother being murdered. And he was put as the murderer. That was why he was on death row. That was crazy too. That whole thing was crazy. Yeah, Boosie, the rapper Boosie. He was on death row for murder 1. Now the craziest part is that she was maintaining that he killed her brother. And she put this on like an hour and a half. I got the video, but it don't have the sound to it. But
then what use is it?
She put the video.
I got the video, but I ain't got no sound on it.
It was.
I mean,
but then when it came down to the real problem, the problem wasn't just that. The problem was that, he had a daughter. He wanted to have the daughter. She didn't want him to get the daughter, and she was trying to put him on child support. That was her whole. It was like you seen it unfold so bad where it was just like, wow. So as the daughter got older, and at this time when they were going through what they were going through on social media, I think her daughter probably was about 9 at the time. Now the daughter comes up. If you hear how she was talking to her father, you would think that she was talking to a boyfriend or ex-boyfriend or a baby daddy or something like that. She wasn't talking to him like it was her father. And her mother was right there. So you can see it, right there, that the mom was the one that literally pushed this hate that she had for Boosie onto the daughter. It's crazy. Now that's toxic. That's a whole different thing than this thing with T.I. and his son. Two totally different things.
Bottom line is people don't know how to be in relationships, let alone know how to be in a marriage. People aren't taught relationship skills. So again, they don't know. So they have a very selfish approach. Largely, it comes from two things. Either they were taught to be selfish, but not taught the other part, how to be generous, magnanimous, and empathetic to people. Empathy is not taught. People think empathy is weak, but it's not. Empathy is a virtue, not a vice. In my opinion, of course. It's something I had to learn, and life taught me that. You know what I'm saying? My experience in the Army, I learned it real quick. We ready, we get deployed, and I'm gung ho, ready to go kick some ass. Get some. I was that guy, JT. Get some. Yeah, get some. Yeah, I was that dude, right? But then when you get there, you see, like, you've been trained and taught that, okay, the boogeyman's there, the big bad wolf, you know what I'm saying? Rumpelstiltskin, Billy Goes Gruff, all of them over there, okay? Go get them. We get there, it's like, wait, where's the boogeyman? There's no monsters here, it's just people. You know what I'm saying? And then you see what goes on. Then you get to some villages, you go in there, okay, and you get orders like nothing can be there when you get back. Just that vague. Also, just that specific too. It sounds vague, but it ain't vague at all. There's a very specific order you're getting. Trey's sitting there grimacing because he gets it. You know what I'm saying? You go there and you do this, and the whole city looks like Swiss cheese when you're done. There's not a building there that doesn't look like Swiss cheese when you're done. And you're like, well, what the hell is this about? Oh, yeah, we fucked up, man. Nothing was there. Yeah, we know. We just left. Nothing was there. We did what you told us to do. Now we're asking you, why did we do that? Like, what was the point? Where are we going with this?
Major, may I ask you a question?
And so, you grow empathetic for people real quick when you're involved in it. I'm sorry, go ahead, Doc.
One, I heard something about something you won. So congratulations, I think is in order a week or two ago, something you won something. I don't know what it was, but I heard you some competition. So if that's true, congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. CBN was just talking earlier about shame and how in the culture, you didn't do things to bring about shame to your family. If you dated a woman, because another thing I think we were talking about as far as children and parents, as an adult, some parents are so loosey-goosey with it, I don't think they feel they even have the power to say something to their adult children. If you were dating a young lady and you thought like, wow, you caught an episode of something and her own dad or her own mama said, yeah, she's, well, how would you respond to that? That the parents feel like we can't even say anything to her. We too afraid?
I think those weak parents. I mean, like my mama to this day, if my father, if he was alive, they would not be. The mama ain't afraid to say shit to me. You know what I'm saying? Today,
Would you feel you have the right to snap back because you're an adult? Would you?
Well, no.
back?
No. I don't snap back. Much like Trey does, I talk to her and I find different ways to get my point across. I use different language to get my point across, but I'm not going to disrespect her, even if she's disrespectful, in my opinion. Like she said something to me that I think was disrespectful. I'm like, you know what? This is nothing new. I learned that like in my late teens, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I think like 16, 17, you know, like mid-teens, something like that. Yeah, mom ain't gonna change. She gonna talk like that. To me at least. So I mean, so it's just one of those things you learn how to get your point across because you don't want to be silent and you do want to get your point across. So I figured out different language to use to let her know, hey, this is what I'm thinking, this is going on. Here's why I think we should go with this, blah, 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 you know, and go from there. But I don't get disrespectful. I don't raise my voice at her, things like that, Dr. Ndekumbe. And it's just, again, the title parent to me holds some weight. You know what I'm saying? And it does merit some level of respect. How much respect? That's subjective. Depends on the person, you know, what you think. But that's just for me. It's saying like if I were to get married to someone, the title wife carries enough weight to merit some margin of respect there. You know, it depends on who these people are in your life. And then just being an older person, like I look at JT, he's in his 50s. You know, it's all downhill for him. So I don't know if there's empathy for him or whatever the case may be, or the big brother, little brother relationship we got going, you know, but regardless, so, and he's a veteran. So, I mean, there's some margin of respect. Same thing with Trey. You know what I'm saying? It's just like everyone on this panel, for me, okay, there's some margin of respect that I have to, I feel obligated to give you guys for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it just depends on the person. These kids today don't feel it. I think these kids today just don't want to respect anyone. They think the world should revolve around them. And they don't understand what they're getting themselves into. They don't understand that. I think they don't understand the dangers of the world because they've been so protected growing up. Whereas a thug in the street, he's had to survive his whole life. He's made dumb decisions and risky and reckless decisions because he or she probably didn't see another way or didn't know another way. But either way, that the goal is just survival. It's just that primal. You know what I'm saying? They've seen the dangers, how dangerous the world can be. These kids who grew up in these rich neighborhoods, they don't know. So they're cool being thugs until it's time to pay the consequences of being one. When Trey homeboys come up to him and get a hold of him, oh no, the world's not fair. Could you let me go? I didn't mean it. No. Would have gone here. Would have gone here.
Before you move the goalposts, the conversation though is a good one. But before you move the goalposts too far, just keep it from the standpoint of if you had children with you through a whole, from them being growing up from toddlers to young teenagers to adult, you'll see how your conversation with them will change. And depending on what kind of person you are as a parent, you know, your conversation with them will change from, you know, just being a parent to a parent mentor, and their responses to you should always be respectful, because you'll get credit for the way you raise them. You almost automatically, if they're good people, male or female. And one of the reasons why I kind of see this is because I have I purposely try to have points where I get my daughters in front of me and we sit down and we have dinner, right? So over the dinner table, you talk and we come up with conversations. I've seen how their conversations changed over the years, and I had to adjust a little bit based on their responses, because their responses weren't always responses of little kids as they got older. So I had to give them some grace in their responses, even though it wasn't respectful, but I had to expect some of the unexpected, because now they have their own mind and their own thing. So I couldn't dictate the kind of responses they gave to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's a subtle kind of thing. And now that they're
you
grown
let them
women,
say anything to you? Do you let them say, you know, out of respect, they're an adult, like maybe they're allowed to, not allowed. Are you more, do you allow more is there more allowance to like maybe curse or even talk to you about any of
They
that?
don't curse. They don't curse in front of me. They don't curse in front of me.
No,
I mean, they give me the same deference I would give my elder. I never cursed in front of my mother or father or my aunts and them. I didn't curse in front of them. So they give me that same deference because I don't really curse in front of my kids either.
Right. I mean, but like in a respectful way, like as a teen or a kid, they'd be like, Dad, you should have seen, oh, never mind, it was crazy. Versus now as adults and being respectful, like I consider my version of communication respectful, but I just say, Dad, you should have saw it. And that nigga with his dick on the TV and that, like just, but I mean, but in a respectful way, and in their opinion, they're not cursing at you. They're just telling you the story.
I know what you're trying to say. No, you know, since if I had a son, it'd be a little bit different. But my girls they generally probably don't talk that way. Right, you know, but they've talked to me about relationships. You know, they talk to me about other things, you know, where they are in their life right now, in terms of relationships and jobs. Unfortunately, they're a little bit more liberal than I like them to be. But like for my oldest daughter, she had a boyfriend, and you know, they broke up, right? We had a family dinner and everything. His family was over. We had all this. I thought they were close, but she kicked him to the curb. And a little while later, I found out because he was mad that she couldn't let him into her room so he could stay with her and all that kind of stuff. She said, my dad won't, you know, say, you crazy. My dad ain't going to allow that shit. And she was right. I never even had to talk to her. And he was mad at that. She said, listen, you know, you got to respect the boundaries. He couldn't do it. So she found out that he ain't the right one for her. So she kicked his ass to the curb. And she told me that later on. You know, I said, okay, that's cool. You know, that's pretty cool with me, you know. So we had those kind of conversations. But you can see how they matured. And now we're talking, now they're working and stuff like that. So I can give them advice on how to do, you know, interviews and don't be afraid to ask for raises. That's one of the reasons why women make less money than men, because they don't challenge the goddamn offers that some of these guys give. You know, men might, but women don't always. So that's why they get that pay gap. So these are the little things I try to do for them. But I it's a good conversation because it's up to the parents a little bit, and you get some grace from your kids depending on how you raise them. If a kid is just out now and you're a parent, they curse at you like they're the boy, like one of your boys, that's a little bit, I think that's a little bit of your fault. You know what I'm saying?
I do want to see if you guys can find or see where the fault was in this this exchange between the parents and the son, and then we'll talk about it right after we go ahead.
Can you tell me who was filming this thing? Was he filming it or somebody else was filming it?
The son, King was. He was putting it out there. So yeah, all of the kids, this is what they do. You know, that's what we were saying earlier when the other video I showed, the guy looking right into the camera, and he's supposed to be talking to his father, but he's looking right into the camera. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead with this, and then we'll go ahead and discuss it right after that.
Have you ever woke up with a roach on your face?
Period. No, that's not the goal.
All right, then. There it goes.
Or in your ear.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I got some in the neighborhood with me that roach on my roach in your ear. Y'all want to go to the bando and man my neighborhood? Do y'all want to go to the bando? Do y'all want to go to the bando? To make him look better, he's shit he know not true. Silver spoon, I ain't never ate with that day a day in my life.
Hey,
you did have a silver spoon. Look, I used to have to come to my grandma's house because I'm getting in the fight.
You cried like a baby to go to your grandma's house.
Every day.
You to hold your breath.
Every day. I don't want to be in these gates. I want to be outside in the neighborhood. That's why I want to be over there. But they don't understand that.
No, I'm going to tell you the reason why he want to be over there. Y'all ready? Because he can suck a pacifier over there till he was 12 years old. He was sucking pacifier till he was 12 years old. He couldn't do that in the house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
They trying to say I was over there trying to suck a passy, but they ain't going to tell you everything. Like that. They trying to hide it.
Ain't nobody hiding it.
He capping. Hey. He know I stand on business. He know that. Ain't no nigga ever pulled my car ever in life. I stand on business. You drop me somewhere, I stand on business. You drop me in your hood, I stand on business. Yeah. I've been stood on business. I've been stood on business. You want to hide it for the world, I'm going to put it out there for them to see. I want to put up nowhere. You ain't had me put up nowhere. Like, you ain't had me behind a mansion. I was outside doing what I wanted to do. Like, what?
You was behind that till you cried.
No, I got too much to drink. I drunk too much. Drunk too much. Let's go. You get mad because we say the South ain't the suburbs. Then he want to talk about some other like this being shit. This being shit. No, I'm being real. You lying. You lying. You over here flagging. You're capping. You capping. You upset. You're mad. You capping. You capping. I know you. You capping. I know you. I know you. I know you. I know you. I know you though. I know you though. I know you though. I know you. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all doing that to me? Y'all know me. You know I stand on business. You know I stand on business. Why you even letting somebody play with me like that? Why you letting somebody play with me like that? Why you letting him play with me like that? Why you letting him play with me like that? No, ain't no joking. Ain't no joking. What do you mean?
You are embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself. Man, what is you talking about?
Get off me, man, get off me, nigga.
Well, you can't do nothing with me. Ain't shit you can do with me.
All right, fellas. Damn.
You know what? It's not as bad as I thought it was.
Right.
Can I?
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you.
Like they had a
I thought it was a lot worse from when I was getting people's
it's
reaction.
not
That's the first
worse,
time I saw it all the way through. That's me and my uncle had sort of the same conversation one time, and I got put in the L too. Like it's like that's kind of men, man.
Family
Hold on.
thing.
Can I say something real quick on this? What the idea of this grown jackass took I stand on bit? If you stand on bit and stand on diapers, which one is it?
This is the thing.
Look like a complete fool.
Young folks, what they do is they repeat everything that everybody do. So in that town, just like you'll go somewhere in Oakland, California, and they always talk about town business. Everybody in Oakland, California, talk about town business. So now they got this new thing is what he's talking about is if I'm in your hood, if somebody try me, I'm gonna get at their ass. You know what I'm saying? I stand on business. That's what they saying. And everybody this is what it is. They just repeat and borrow each other's little sayings or whatever. It's just like
If JT's my older brother, that's a conversation. If we went at it, it would probably go something like that. And eventually JT gonna have enough. Like enough is enough. We done talking. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what I saw.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, King out of pocket, obviously. But it wasn't that bad. I'm sorry. It just was not that bad to me.
Bro, if you ever seen the Boosie one of his daughter, you be like, God, like that right there.
I heard the phone conversation one they had when she was in the car or something like that. That one was wild.
But it was all of them. Yeah, when they had the call, and he was telling the ex-wife he gonna put a bounty on her head. He told his daughter he was calling her all kind of bees and took his car back. He said, you tell her I'm gonna take her ass off my wheel in the morning time. You know, and it was just like, wow. Then he had an interview and it just blew it up so bad. But that was it started out dysfunctional. Even before the girl was born, he got a song that he said that the woman that his daughter's mom was a bust down. Him and his homeboy shared her. So it's crazy. So that little girl or that young lady, she really got some shit wrong with her. For real, for real. It's a lot going on because, I mean, Boosie, he's reckless with his mouth. The mama is reckless. Everybody in that little town is reckless. You know, it's just, that's what it is. And now they gave birth and raised a reckless young lady. That's just what it is.
So Trey, what else you got to say about this thing? You don't think it was that bad? I mean,
I really don't. That just sounds like a conversation. I think what happens is that people outside of our culture think that when we have conversations that are sort of loud and aggressive like that, that means that the whole place don't get shot up. That's not how it works. What I saw was two parents reminding a child that your life wasn't that hard, and we made it easy for you. And I saw a child, a grown adult, trying to argue that it was a lot more difficult than you're leading on to be, and that you're lying about it. But he's referring to the bando and all this, and I'm just like, I have a hard time believing that he was a part of that life. But I was expecting like explosive, like just crazy. Nah, that was. I mean, that's a Sunday after the football game, and too many beers.
He's his mama, dog. He can't nothing he can do with his daddy.
Right. Even what T.I. was saying, you can't do nothing with me. My uncle said that to me. My uncle said that you can't do nothing with me. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I can see what people say. There's obvious, clear dysfunction. I'm not skating over that. There's obvious, clear dysfunction within that family. But I guess based on what I had been reading and what I had seen, the reactions, I just expected fireworks, and I was let down.
Yeah. So let me just ask this question though. Let me ask this question.
Let me welcome my man.
Yeah, let's introduce the information man. Thank you for coming tonight. Although my sister's not here, be nice to come to see something.
Thanks a lot, bro. Let me give you your proper.
What's going on, guys?
No, bring it back. No, you don't do that to me on my show. Again, it's my show. So yeah.
I just wanted to add this point. I think King, he appears to be the way he is because the family is dysfunctional. And with the lifestyle that they live, the Hollywood lifestyle, this kid has been impacted by it. Now, this is what we sometimes do as black people. Well, it's not that bad. That's our problem already. That we minimize shit too much. We know he's got problems because what was it? Was it a year ago? King was having all sorts of problems, and T.I. was admitting that he was having a problem with getting his son under control, and that he said that you're going to be going to prison if you don't stop what you are doing. And this is a kid who's been living in gated communities, and now he's trying to act like he's gangster. I think Michael Irvin, the Dallas Cowboy legendary player, he has the same problem with his son that's a rapper that's rapping about stuff that he didn't even live. So I think there's a problem there. I mean, yeah, family members go back and forth. I get that. But there is a clear issue, and I have to look at the family dynamic. There's something that's not kosher, and we know that kids sometimes do reckless things.
Oh, are you pausing?
Yeah, it froze up a little bit.
Network.
I'm gonna jump in if he's frozen. Couple things to consider. I find the parents at fault and King at fault, and I'll tell you why. It sounds like in the beginning they were joking. King is playing, he's joking, and then
you froze up for a minute. The information, man. Well, you froze up again too. I don't know if I don't think he knows. Does he know?
All right, if he comes back in, I'll stop like we've been listening the whole time. Like, oh.
Yeah, you've been freezing in and out information.
Yeah.
So King, it sounds like they were playing, and then he got his feelings hurt. And we live in a society now where everything's about your feelings. And when he got his feelings hurt, he's recording. But that's when I say, T.I., as the parent, could you have not taken that conversation? Once you realize your son is sensitive about the topic, regardless if he did it or not, that's when, as the adult and as a parent, as I got your back, because I think one of you talking about, they've been close. Like, they've been doing shows together. They've been playing, like, they're on some show together where they're playing card games and questions. So I think the parent could have recognized at that point where he all up in his feelings. Hey man, cut the camera. Yeah, whatever you say, son, whatever you say, to allow that space for a son, then have an off the camera conversation about, dude, you're getting reckless. The other part is also consider kids are visionary. So even if you live in a gated community or live in the hood, your vision is usually the opposite. So they're just rapping their fantasies. They're rapping what if. You know, 69, how does a teenager watch his video and the people are in the jail and then a kid is out here talking about, oh, I wish I was in jail. Why would they say that? And the parent is like, what? Because they see family. They see a group of people. They see connection. They see, so it's not just jail. Same way I say, please understand that when the kids are doing that, even if they didn't live the lifestyle, I'm not talking about trying to live the lifestyle and being reckless. I'm talking about when they entertain that idea, they might just be expressing what their vision has always been.
Absolutely. You got some, Trey? Are you?
Like I said, I mean,
You're a good expert.
it wasn't that big a deal to me. Families get into arguments all the time, and I can understand if T.I.'s people or T.I. himself or Tiny was recording it. King is recording this. He's doing this to himself, and you listen. You only got 10 toes. You want to keep shooting yourself in the foot and shoot your toes off, then that's on you, bro. At some point in time, he's an adult and he's gonna have to sink or swim. And T.I., I think, has done more than enough to try to save that boy from himself. And at some point in time, you know, let it be. We all know he was raised in the best of situations, at least far better than others. And if he doesn't want to acknowledge that, fine, whatever. But I'm not as an adult, I'm not doing all this. Oh, I gotta save him from himself. I gotta pull him to the side. You want to make a mockery out of the family? Fine, then let's do it. Let's do it. Because at the end of the day, T.I. is still gonna be T.I. T.I. still gonna get paid. It's, you know, his brand is what it is. That's not changing based on an unruly son. It is what it is. If King want to do that, then fine. But this whole, you know, we'll do it in the dark. We'll turn the cameras off and then we'll have this kind of conversation. Why? King ain't doing that.
Right.
He's not thinking the same way.
Right. Let me ask this, because I don't know all of T.I.'s history. Wasn't he one of those kids with bad behaviors turn good? Was he one of those?
I don't know nothing about his upbringing.
He was. Matter of fact, he has a and I think I did download the video, but he had a video. Remember the first time that King went viral, and he was talking about his issues with his son, and his whole thing was, his message was actually to the people that was on social media. You know, basically he was saying it's a family issue. He's like, don't try to tell me how to parent my son. But he also explained that I know the issues he have because I was one of those kids too. So that's my son. So I know what he's going through, you know. So it was one of those, he showed that he had empathy, but it's like he's trying to have a balance between having sympathy, empathy, and then being stern as a father also. And I think that's where, you know, he's just, I mean, when you talking about this shit with parenting, man, it is what it is, especially you got grown kids. Once you get a 19-year-old and you thought you gave them everything, and we know, you know, giving them the world is not giving them everything. I don't know if it was on this show or Trey, was you saying it, or somebody was saying that sometimes people have to suffer. Sometimes we learn from suffrage, right? We learn a multitude of ways. And I think that sometimes in our own era, and the consequences through our era, you know, I think is we should be learning that way also.
Right. And for that, I mean, I actually agree with you, Trey. I don't give a damn who you are. You're not going to be embarrassing us like that. And if you want to go there, then you're responsible for the consequences. When I think of, well, if T.I. was 26, 28, 29, 30 years before he really got himself together, then where's that gray area, like to kind of help his son grow out of that stage?
Yeah, but we're talking about two completely different upbringings, though. You know,
two different times. Yeah,
King's upbringing is not the same. I could understand if King had a similar upbringing as T.I. Yeah, okay, fine. That would only be fair. But King, they were saying silver spoon. They were saying it in the video, silver spoon. He had to deny that he didn't have a silver spoon, and even Tiny said, "No, you had a silver spoon." Like they're telling them, "Listen, you had a good life growing up." Maybe it wasn't his idea, because I can remember as a child thinking that the lifestyle I had, I wanted something different as a child growing up. I think we all had that, right? Why do I have it this way? Why don't I have it the other way? Especially, growing up with a single mom, and all my friends had their dad in their life. Well, where's my dad? You know what I mean? Like, it was one of them type of things. But when you look at it, I'm sure King's life was not as difficult as most people's lives. And I think that there's an entertainment element to this. The same thing with Michael Irvin's son. The same thing with a lot of these younger guys who are coming up in the entertainment careers now. They have to project a certain image because that's what the majority of the people who are going to buy their records relate to. They don't relate to the silver spoon. I don't relate to a silver spoon, right? So he can't rap about silver spoon because that ain't gonna sell no records. He's got to rap about the bando. He's got to rap about the hard life. He's got to rap about that, even though he never had it.
He got a trauma behind.
That's here's the thing. Okay, so here's the big fear, right? Even though while he goes on this fantasy, the fear that his parents have is that he's gonna make a mistake he can't come back from. That's the issue. You could be an asshole, but these guys, when they're out there with a little bit of money in their pocket, it's just a matter of time that before he makes a mistake, he can't come back. He's gonna do something, or he's gonna be with some asshole, and you can get hooked up in a humbug real quick, just driving in a car with somebody packing, or somebody having some drugs on them, or somebody doing something stupid. You don't even have to be doing it, but you going down with them. So the way he's talking, the way Michael Irvin's son is talking, you could say, listen, okay, I hear what you're saying, or my man John Morant, for that matter. He didn't grow up like that either. So it's just, depending on who you hang out with, whether it's you as the leader, you as the follower, the way you talk gives people pause for saying, yeah, this guy is just one big mistake that he can't come back from. And that's the danger of how he's talking to me. That's the danger. I mean, you're a little belligerent, you're a little silver spoon. You don't want to, sometimes your perspective is like your life was harder than it was. Kids do that sometimes because they can only see their perspective. But now that he's out there, now that he's free, and then he's talking like that, if he really believes it, the danger is he might do something stupid that he can't come back.
Yeah. But you know what? Also, the more I keep thinking about it is, especially when you talk to a lot of these young folks that's trying to be out in these streets, I remember telling one of my cousins that, everybody has to learn their lessons. And I said, maybe whatever it is you go through, because if you get shot, get killed, you're not learning any lessons anymore. That lesson ain't for you to learn. That lesson is for somebody on the outside to learn. You were just sacrificed for it, right? Because sometimes there's sometimes in life where you're just not going to learn that lesson. It's going to be the end of your life. There's no learning lessons no more. It's over for you. So whoever else that saw it, witnessed it, whoever's going through something, that's for them. Whatever it was that you just did, that just happened to you, that lesson is going to be for them. They don't see a lot of kids, just like we don't, we try to revert back to when we were 19, 18 and things like that. It's just hard for myself to try to revert back to, for instance, a T.I. I wasn't a dope boy. I ain't never had to worry about anything. I've never had to worry about eating. I never had to worry about having a place to stay. So I got sympathy and empathy for a lot of cats that deal with that, because I looked at it from the outside, family members and people in the neighborhoods and stuff like that. But I've never had that type of lifestyle. I also never been filthy rich. Never lived in a mansion. Never had to deal with multi-million-dollar deals and things like that also, and have a family and all these other things. So what I do is look at it from my perspective, and that's basically all I could do. I live a regular person's life. And that's where I asked the question, it is still, do you think it's conducive for a T.I. and Tiny to be able to raise their son between houses? Because that's what, from what he was talking about, he was raised between houses. Am I right, information man? He was between grandma, auntie, and until his auntie died.
Yeah.
And his parents.
I overheard what you all were saying. That T.I. did have a rough background and has gotten himself, as well as his wife Tiny, they've gotten themselves in a lot of trouble over the years where they've been locked up, which isn't the best example for your kids, right? So then you have to ask yourself, does King, this, and it's not just about T.I., we can look at this for a lot of family dynamics.
Right.
Will your child respect you when you don't set the proper example? Right? Where do kids learn this stuff really? From adults. They watch what we're doing. So that's why I mentioned earlier, family dysfunctions are transferred onto other generations. And I specifically am concerned about it because it is an issue that has been plaguing the Black community, or at least some Black people in our community. So when you look at T.I. and you say, well, he's rich, he's got money, he'll be all right. Money don't solve ills, man. You can have all the goddamn money in the world, and it doesn't solve the problem. It make your life better. It make you live a better life, but it doesn't solve the mental health problems that a lot of our people struggle with, that we're in denial of. And so the issues that he has with his son, you see these same issues in what you would call regular Black people's household, white people's household, everybody's household. But this is how I look at it. Remember, these are people, kids, young people that are going to grow up and become adults as we get older, right? In charge of the world, in charge of communities, or in communities. Some of these folks are going to grow up and they may be off their rocker, and they're going to knock you upside your head when you're an old man. People forget about that. People forget all those crack babies that were born in the 80s, and we're wondering why some kids are off the hook. We forgot those crack babies grew up to be adults with that dysfunction of their family being on drugs and passing it down. So we're all responsible for our own family. We can't tell T.I. what to do, but this is the thing. Yeah, he's a celebrity, but we got a lot of celebrities, brothers, in our community. They don't display their family dysfunction on social media for us to see. Do we see Denzel Washington's family dysfunctions? And I'm sure he's had problems. He's got a son that's doing damn well in acting, but do he display it? No. Think about it. There are Black celebrities who don't display their family business, and then there's some that do. Why? Because they're clout chasing, they're trying to bring attention and what have you. So even though it's a family gathering, and yeah, that's what families could do, does it necessarily need to be displayed for public consumption? Is there no privacy to your family? I mean, I'm just saying. So I don't think it's easy to say it because it's a celebrity, but not all celebrities function and display their families out there like that. I mean, we got to be honest about that.
Controversy. I can't say that word today. I could not say that word, bro. Controversy.
Get that SH out your mouth.
I can, man, it's in there, bro. Controversy creates cash. And I think in this particular situation, T.I.'s never been ashamed of making money in any way. In any way, regardless of how he got the money. Whether it was drugs, guns, rapping, or reality shows.
Yeah, you're right.
T.I. is well aware that he was on camera. He knew he was on camera. Tiny took the camera from him.
Yeah.
So it's a good point that Information Man is making. Yeah, we don't talk about Denzel, but I don't think Denzel wants us to talk about it. I think T.I. wants us to talk.
But why,
T.I.
Trey?
wants us to talk about
But
it.
Trey, why is it that some celebrities who are big time celebrities, we hardly hear about their problems? Why do you think that is? Or at least their family dysfunctions. Let's just say that.
It could be a myriad of reasons. I mean, a lot of people believe that LeBron James never cheated on his wife. That's a lie. He has a better PR team. It's a better PR team than other people. There's a lot of reasons as to why we don't hear the things that we hear. I will say this though, because I have the utmost respect for Denzel Washington and the opportunity to meet him when I was on a USO tour.
Yes.
And I do think that there's just a certain we have to just accept there's just like top tier people. And I think he just happens to be one of these people where he's not going to allow certain things to infiltrate his family. And his wife is also on board with that, which I think matters. I think, Pauletta saying, listen, this is what we stand for matters. I don't think T.I. has that with Tiny. I think Tiny is just as much in the mix, you know what I mean, as T.I.
She's all over the place.
Yeah.
What's one of the things that Denzel Washington always says? Denzel Washington has a quote where he says, the reason why he doesn't get himself in a lot of trouble, because when he does his roles for movies, he does his movies, and what does he do, gentlemen? He goes home. He's not hanging out in the clubs, right? He's not looking for this over-the-top stuff, right? So that's why you don't hear about certain celebrities, if we're talking about celebrities, getting caught up in mess because they got a wife, they do their job, and they go home.
So, Information Man, if I may ask, because I know you work with kids in the institution. I don't know if you see the difference between the adolescents who engage like that with their parents, or these now young men who are going left with their parents. Do you see that difference at all? Like,
well, I've had the benefit of working with adolescents, but I deal with men right now because I work in a male prison. But then I also see guys that come in that are 18, 20 years, young, that are getting grown man sentences. And a lot of them are lost, man. A lot of them are telling me that they regret some of their decisions, obviously, and they regret not listening to those men that were trying to guide them. And they also felt that they did not have proper male leadership in their life, and that the gang structure became their family, unfortunately. And a lot of these guys that are doing heavy time, I'm telling you, they are regretting it. They are now looking at their life and saying, I've really screwed up. So there's some guys in there that really realize that they screwed up and they want to change their life.
So Information Man, right? Since you talk to these guys a lot, right?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it amazing how thin the threads are that could have saved them? I mean, I think sometimes some of the threads are really thin for them to make one decision one way and the other way. Just somebody being somewhere to say, listen, don't do that.
It's a choice it's a choice. It's a bad I can be honest right here. The difference between all of us on this panel.
Oh, you start breaking up when you say you're going to be truthful, start breaking up.
Yeah. I'm having a lot. I don't know why I've been having these connection problems with StreamYard for some reason. It's really starting to bother me. I'm sorry, guys.
That's all right. We got you now. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. While he's getting it together, our pain. This video is an example of what I was talking about. I believe T.I. and his son had that allowance to have that exchange. It was up to a certain point where it was like, hey, dude, you're going too far. But I think they allowed. So when you say, hey, do people even have people to talk to? I think parents should allow some certain spaces and allowances to have that ability to razz each other, talk crazy to each other, even if they're cursing, getting wild, but then know when they cross the line.
I tend to believe that by just looking at their it's like the way that they are with each other. Like if you look at all of the stuff that T.I. and his son has, I think it is that, because even after they had that little exchange, his son it was like nothing even happened. He got about a whole hour of this. It was like nothing even happened. He talking with the dudes on the football team. He talking with, you know, all the guys that was at the halftime show, all of that stuff, man. So it was a lot where I'm tending to believe that, Doc, where maybe their relationship is not as bad as people think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not, because I remember seeing T.I. always having him with him. Every time you saw T.I., when he was in it, like if you ever seen the show that they had, he always had him with him. And it's another son he had, Major, the younger one. I thought it was King that was the younger one, but King wasn't the younger one. And then she had some more kids after that. Shit, Tommy. But that relationship that King, so it's kind of like King, maybe that's probably how T.I. was. You know how one of your kids can be almost exactly like you in behavior-wise? You like, hell, now you act just like me when I was your age. Like, that's one of the joys of seeing your children, right? Like, with my daughters, they're daughters, but there's a time where they both, and I'm like, man, they'd throw me in jail if I ever, just by behavior, you be like, nah, she's a female version of me. From 3, 4, 5, like one of my daughters, I thought it would have been my oldest daughter that had been more like me, but it's my youngest daughter. And I'm talking about the positives and the negatives. And it makes it's kind of like the relationship can be difficult because it's like I'm looking at myself and I'm having issues with me. But it's one of my kids. I could be talking to them and they would respond to me like I would respond to someone else. And it's frustrating and amazing at the same time. So that could be what's going on with T.I. Him and his son having that type of a thing, and they probably have a better bond than what we think. My whole thing is that, the young man definitely, he's gonna have to learn, because I think his biggest problem is the friends he hold.
Yeah, but the issue is that it was played out in the public. That's one of the reasons why we have an issue, period. Some things we just kind of know that should be in closed doors, And now with social media, almost everything is butt naked to the world. Right? I mean, everybody's private life is out there. It's just out there. I mean, it's just, I think it's so stupid.
But can we be clear about something? Can we be clear about something in this family, though? King ain't the problem. King ain't the problem child in this family. Let's be very clear about that. The daughter, the daughter that's not technically his.
Man,
she's the biggest problem in this family. You can pull up pictures of her right now. Titties out everywhere.
Yeah. What's the
link? And she a single mom.
Females are very difficult when they come down. Like, once they get to be teenagers, man, I think the females are way more difficult as teenagers as males. It's a whole different thing. You got to be creative when you're dealing with your daughters. You got to be creative when you're dealing with them. I don't know, with boys, it's a little more cut and dry, just like what T.I. did. He put his son, took his ass up, put him in a headlock. Boy, you can't do nothing with me. It ain't that easy with the females. You right. Damn, Trey, I forgot about that shit. They got too many damn kids. That's all that shit is.
Once they start smoking weed. Appreciate y'all, man. How y'all doing?
Hold on, man. Let me give you your proper.
I'm sorry.
Let me give you your proper.
Doc, I was just greeting you, saying Trey F. Good to see you.
It's 23 hours.
That was it.
That was it, man. You in the guest, you know your family. You just come on in. You know what the biz is.
I've been sort of following this. It's been really interesting. T.I. was raised by his grandparents, and what he displays to the is that he was really respectful to them. So I don't know, when it may have changed, but I think over what, the last 10 years. And so they've been putting their family life pretty much in the public eye, giving their children opportunities to sort of speak their mind in ways that most of us wouldn't be allowed to in a capacity. And it's just odd that now is the time. You know, you still living at your parents' home, and you know you got a little rap career and whatever. I ain't really heard none of these things, and the fact that the culture is sort of just beating the black family down in all capacities. So for him to just be vocal like that and be brave enough to say it out loud, I think it's more to the story than what we know right now. I think it's more to it, you know, and who knows? He could have been talking to the older sister and the grandmama. The grandmama, I think she a white lady. So, you know, tell him what she telling him. I'm just saying, I don't know. And the fact that he got a Playboy bunny, on his neck, I'll pay y'all some money if y'all gonna get a Playboy bunny. Trey, you gonna get a Playboy bunny on your neck anytime? No, not no man does it. So he might be struggling with his true identity to get a Playboy bunny tattooed in the front of your neck. Come on, fellas.
But this
them light skinned dudes be going through it.
Man, watch it. What you said.
I mean, like that is true. The identity issues. Am I more black? Yeah. Am I more? And as a teenager, I mean, like true identity issues, like his whole look, dreads, light skin. I know plenty of people who actually have not identity as in like I don't know who I am, but which kind of way am I going to go with my life?
And then you got to also understand that the culture is taking over with, you know, and this tattoo on your neck, tattoo on the back of your ear, tattoo on your face, tattoo on your forehead. They doing this now. They still got jobs and whatever with these tattoos on their face and their necks and you know, hands, they got big old sleeves. So that's a part. And it's crazy because what you're saying is something where I'm just like, well, what made him get the Playboy bunny? Because I remember, and you know, in our time, we knew what that Playboy bunny actually meant. You know what I'm saying? It was just like even with the earring, we knew what the earring actually was. You know what I'm saying? So you had two of them. You know something.
But don't this son got 2 earrings? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how old he is.
Culture has changed. They be wearing, you know, they be wearing 4 on one ear, then they got the whole other ear easied up. But you know, it's a whole different thing now, man.
Now, Trey F, could you see it as a positive, that video? Meaning, thinking about T.I.'s life, now we have more public stuff, more media, social media. And that exchange actually shows that black men, fathers, can get into it, but it wasn't like that big brawl like we watched before where the guy came home and the son came home and his daddy sitting there with his daughter. So, I mean, could we even take a positive way to say, like I think a couple of you were saying, yeah, my uncle grabbed me before or little whatever, shut up. Could that be even a positive?
I think it could be if it wasn't played out in social media. I think those are the teaching moments for even people who are not them. It just be regular Joe Smo those are teaching moments for fathers and sons to sort of speak about this type of incident and ways to avoid this in the future. Right. Whether we go out to eat, whether we go to a game, we're going to have differences. But as a father, you have to make sure that your children know that where your vision is not down where theirs is. You have to think about the overall protection from day one, and your mind is going 100 miles an hour. It just in being able to speak about certain things, because I'm sure his son is having sex, probably having a lot of it. He's down in the ATL. So, and his son is in places that the average teenager don't go. The son is born with a silver spoon. Right.
He's experiencing something that now this is the thing that I would have a problem with though, because what he's doing is reaching down and being in the so-called hood and street and talking about, you know, what his chopper and who he gonna fight, and you know, he's reached, instead of bringing people up with him, where it's kind of like, yeah, I really understand where you just don't realize how good you actually have it because you didn't start from humble beginnings. You started with what they consider a silver spoon, but he's denying it. He like, fuck that. Nope, that ain't what it is. I was out there because he was telling them he was out there. He know what a bandos is, right? Come on, man.
Right. And if his grandma was saying, I mean, not his grandma, that was his mom, right? Saying you chose to go to grandma's. He might have felt a greater connection in that natural environment than you would have created.
Grandma is feeding
Right.
him.
Like but it was kind of like it started out as a fun conversation. Boy, you ain't never, because that's what it was when it first, the video first kind of like came on, was when T.I. was asking me, when you been in a damn abandoned house, when you woke up with a roach on your head, when you, like, T.I. telling him that's how I grew up. I grew up with roaches and rats, rats and shit like that. I grew up in the hood. I grew up wearing the same shoes. You got 500. This is what they would tell. So it was supposed to be fun, but he got frustrated.
JT and Doc, how much of this is admiration for his dad? And I know boys want to be their dad, and because dad grew up in the bando and dad sold drugs and my dad did this and my dad did this. How much of this is just pure admiration that I want to be like him? Listen, I became a cop because my uncle was a cop. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to be like him. That's what I saw. How much of this is admiration do you guys think that is?
I love that. Because then if I told you, I think it would be disingenuous if I said, no, you ain't never saw no crime. You ain't never, damn if I saw it. Like don't try and block me. Don't try and stop me. Like I know the difference and I want that life. So I think you spot on with something like, yeah. Don't try and block me. You had yours. Let me have mine.
I think there's a lot, but I also think that it's mixed with a jealousy, right? Or envy. I think that's where the frustration comes from. Think about this. Like me, I've always said, my father was cool to me until I got about 10, 11 years old. He wasn't cool no more. When shit he was doing was cool. I don't think he's experiencing that. He still sees his father as this motherfucker 45, almost 50 years old, and he's still cool.
He's still cool to this day. Yep.
Yeah. This is what I inspired to do. Why this shit ain't working with me like it's working? His father telling him, because you got to put in the work. It ain't just talking shit. And he's getting, it's like a frustration. But yeah, I think a lot of it is the admiration that he has for his father. Yeah. And it has the envy that's in it, and it's just frustration that's there. I
also think he's looking for the street cred. I think he's looking for that street cred. He's looking for that street cred because he's
because his dad got it. That's why I said his dad was cool.
T.I. still rocking party, and his son.
Right. Our dad stopped being cool to us once we be teenagers. Our dads stopped being cool. I stopped being cool to my daughters. By the time they got old enough to start liking boys and they were teenagers, I wasn't a cool dad no more. But that got to be a difficult thing, man, when your daddy is, you know what I'm saying, he rocking a $70,000, $80,000, people crowd, bro. Still got the swag. You still wearing it. Y'all still sharing the same gear. Now his father done grew his hair out. Now he got the doggone locks. Got the hat to the side. You seeing the album cover. Come on, man. He's getting the cheeks.
He's getting the girlfriend cheeks that you wish you could get. He's the girls that you taking over.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I'm extremely jealous of T.I. because he had Bernie's Burgos. And if y'all know anything about how I feel about Bernie's Burgos, I'm extremely jealous of T.I.
Trey, you need help.
we all know that. That's why the doc on the panel. We all know that. I say it all the time. I am your resident heathen and degenerate. I need help. We all know that.
Oh my God. Let me tell you real quick because let me say this. Watching this and see all the multiple baptisms throughout the year, it points out one thing that it's really a problem. A lot of parents are becoming their kid best friend with it the worst thing to do. And the reason why I'm saying this, as the father and the grandfather, I don't try and be my kid best friend. I make sure I nip it at the bud early on because I understood why. Before I became a parent, I watched other parents, how they interact with their kids. And I see the level of disrespect increase over the period of time. And I see why it happened. So me, I love being a father. I love being a grandfather. But what I don't allow is a level of disrespect to come across anywhere. I tell my son and my daughter since they were little, you're not allowed to disrespect your mother. You're not allowed to disrespect your father. You disrespect your mother, you're disrespecting me. If I find out you disrespect your mother when I'm not around, your ass is mine. I do the same thing with my grandkids. If I hear you disrespect your mom come to me, I'm coming to get you. I will be the boogeyman looking at you while you're sleeping. I'm not playing around. And the reason why I do that is because, for one, I understood the level of discipline it comes to keep your child in check, so it keep them in a straight path so they don't stray away. But when you don't have that level of consistency, I'm always consistent with my kids. There's a reason why when my wife have an issue with a kid, and the moment that I will call your dad, the look on their face said a lot. Now, some people say I hit my kid. No, I don't hit my kid. What I do to them, I get to their mind and let them know, which one you want to do? You want to get on my bad side or want to get on my good side? Make your choice. But think carefully. I talk to my kid individually to understand how to think, how to respond to things, but I also let them know, I love you unconditionally, but that doesn't mean because I love you unconditionally, you can do whatever you want. There are consequences for your action, either good or bad. We better think carefully because, for one, living in New York City, watching the multiple kids that act identical to T.I.'s son, I see how far that thing goes. That's how the decay start. I can't tell people how to raise their kid, but I ask them this question. It's like investing in a stock market. What you put in and what you get out. If you keep it that way, what excuse you going to give when something goes bad? When something goes good, yes, you get all the praise. Yeah. When that thing going down the wrong path, are you going to hold yourself accountable or are you going to point fingers? I remember growing up, my aunt and my uncle will bring their kid to me to put some discipline in the way I do it. They'll always ask me, what did I do? I say, none of your goddamn business, because I understand the logic behind it. When there's no structure and order in a child, from you, before they start thinking for themselves, there's a problem. And I say beat your kids, spank the kid, but you have to set a standard and be consistent about it. You cannot be flip-flopping. I've seen many parents who flip-flop. T.I. flip-flopped 2 damn months with his son. That's why he act the way he act. I see certain celebrities don't even play a game. I said, for example, Bill Gates. I thought I was a strict. This dude is ultra strict. He cut it out the butt. He's not letting his kid act any kind of way, but somehow they did a little sign of rebel based on their choices, who they want to be around with.
Did you say Bill Gates?
Yeah, he's a little overboard. Something I read what he was doing, I was thinking like
his daughter dating a black man wasn't rebellious.
That is a kind of rebellious, yeah, because there's something he would restrict on certain areas.
That's why I said daughters are a little more difficult, man, when they get older.
So it's kind of like a payback. Okay, Dad, you lock her down on a bunch of things get when I'm older. This is what I'm gonna do. So I get it. Some parents are too over strict to the point whereby it end up creating a rebellious children. You just had this joke. You take kid to Catholic school. Everybody from New York City.
His daughter got an upgrade for messing with the black guy. His daughter was upgraded.
Oh, I did not say it. It's RP,
man,
not me.
Let me welcome the 2 new guys on the panel, man. Mr. Bennett, my boy Tommy B.
Man,
What's happening with you?
Tommy,
Good gentlemen.
where have you been, Tommy?
Trey, long time no see. Trey F.
With these kids, man.
Yeah, I knew you were
We
gonna
were
say
just
that.
on the
I knew
last
you were
joke.
gonna say
What
their
if
kids. Everything on the kids.
Hey, CB, I asked a question, but if you just to think about it while these two are going, I'll throw it out to you. Because you have three generations as a grandparent, parent, grandkid.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say in your day, you didn't rap, but you were out there shirtless and stuff, with your tribe and dancing.
Oh,
and bear with me. And then your son started rapping, but his rap was like rapping Duke type stuff or, Run DMC, but he was expressing himself. And of course, you look at your son like, man, y'all kids are crazy with all that hippity hop and the beatboxing. But then your grandson is rapping about smoking weed and licking brown holes. Now, in their mind, your son wasn't being disrespectful, and your grandson is only doing what the sign of the time is. He doesn't think he's being disrespectful.
Just licking the brown holes. That's the only disrespectful part, Doc.
I'm just saying, but because on one end there's the female saying she got a brown whatever, and gonorrhea, and then if your grandson is like, "That's what I want, Grandpa. Listen to this shit here," and then he even when he says shit here, he wasn't thinking he was cursing at you, because if you go up a generation, shit was a bad word. Now it's a common word. So I just want you to think about like how do you deal with that kind of different generations, and do you actually consider that disrespect? But like I said, after the other two get in there. Thank you.
Hold on. Time out. I got a question for the doctor. Listen, this is your area of expertise, so got to defer to you. Listen, man, what is it about kids that? Because a lot of the shit the kids fall for, my parents didn't have to teach me for me to say no to it. You know what I'm saying? The vast majority of it, I just like, no, man, I'm not into that. You know what I'm saying? So what is it about these kids? And then again, they grow up in far better conditions than their parents did. What is it about these kids today that want to seem to regress back to the hardship that their parents fought so hard to get out of? Like both my parents grew up without money. They both grew up poor. You know what I'm saying? They both grew up poor and built what they had together. That's what my sister and I saw. Like we watched our parents literally, especially me, being the firstborn, we watched our parents start from nothing and build what they had, at the end of it together. And it's like, wow, that's a great accomplishment. Look at what they did together. So it's like, we never once wanted to go back to live the life that they did live, especially when we heard the stories about it. We're like, yeah, no.
But you might be answering your own question, Mandro.
But no, but how am I? No, why don't kids want to go back to that nonsense? It's like, why would you?
I'm gonna put a pin in your question, because then I'll be going the opposite of what I just asked CBN to do. So I'll put a pin, hold on to your question, and then let the two brothers who just came on, and then I'll answer after.
Well, Tommy B can't talk. He's number one. He's a Raiders fan. Okay, that's that. And I ain't argued sports with this nigga in 2 years. He has a channel, Dr. McClumbie and Mr. Bennett. He has a channel called We Argue Sports. It's a sports channel called We Argue Sports. We're supposed to argue sports. Trey, I'd like you to join us too whenever this happens. But it's up and running. I ain't arguing sports with this dude yet. 2 football seasons and come and gone just about. That's right, Tommy B. I'm calling you out.
Good things come to people. Good
We
things come to
driving
people.
trucks right now.
I heard that. We driving trucks right now.
There you go.
Shout out to Tommy B, y'all. I gotta give my heart.
No, I think
Tommy too busy making money.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot of. I think it's a lot of things in this. Number one, we all have to realize we don't know what the fuck we talking about. A lot of y'all making matter of fact points, and you don't know none of these people whatsoever. Period. Point blank. I would say that based off the fact of if you saw me coming up, you would make assumptions about my parenting that would have been 100% wrong. I've told people straight up that I was raised to be a square. I was put in private school. My dad was strict. I got my ass beat, curfews, all of that shit. I did what the fuck I wanted to do. And I think what people seem to lose is, yes, they're your kids, but they are fucking humans. So at a certain point, they're going to do what they want to do. And so I love it when people see these things and, oh, if they were under my roof, If I was under any of y'all roofs, I would have did what the fuck I wanted to do, because that's just my personality. Again, my dad did every fucking thing to keep me out of trouble. That's the shit I chose to get into. And I think people seem to miss that part of it. And part of what I respected about my pops was once he saw that about me, he then, instead of chastising, he kind of kept me safe in that situation. And what I say is, like, he knew all of the OGs in my neighborhood. It wasn't shit that I could do in that neighborhood that didn't come back to him. So even though I decided to go fuck around in the streets, I was fucking limited on what the fuck I could do because he knew every fucking thing that happened. So I damn near couldn't even sneak around what the fuck he was doing because he was already tapped in with everything. So instead of him telling me, no, which wouldn't have worked with me because I was hopping out the back window. We had emergency bars on my windows. I used to pop them motherfuckers open as soon as they left, and I'm hitting fences and shit. I'm outside. I had summers where I was on punishment the entire summer. I was still outside somehow. I'm 41 years old right now. My partners still laugh about me being on punishment. That's how much punishment I was on. And I was still outside. So I think people have to understand that there's a certain amount of control you can have over your kids, but at the end of the day, they're human beings. They have their own personalities. And so that's number one. Number two, to kind of answer your question, Mandrell, I think in his situation, a lot of those kids try to look for some type of normalcy. I think we take our normalcy for granted. Perfect example, I use this all the time. We go to the grocery store, it's just a normal act. Michael Jackson had to rent out a grocery store to have a fucking normal grocery store trip.
That's a fact.
So so when you hear the kid talk, the kid is saying, we live in this big house. It's a gate. I'm bored. We don't think about when we in the hood. I just go outside. My partner next door.
Right.
My other partner next door. My other partner around the corner. Hey, we about to go play football in the street. Hey, we about to go hoop at the school up the street.
Yeah.
Those kids are restricted from that because they're in neighborhoods where most of them neighbors don't fuck with each other. They're isolated from each other. That's why they buy these big old properties with these big ass gates, leave me the fuck alone type shit. And so I think because it's so normal for us to grow up and just go outside and crack the fire hydrant open, have a water balloon fight, that's normal shit to us. That was fun.
Yeah.
So for him to go back to his grandma's house that he was talking about and experience that, and then have to go back to T.I.'s house where it's like, bro, this shit boring as fuck. I want to go have a water fight. I want to go play football. Shit that we'll look at and be like, that's dumb as fuck. It's like, if you look at a lot of these people that end up in these situations, a lot of them are grabbing or trying, like what your sister said about being a celebrity. It's like being in prison without the bars. Well, a lot of these kids, when they end up under these celebrities, that's damn near what they under as well. So when we look at it and we look at them doing this type of stuff, I think it just so happens because of where his grandma stays, that's what he's leaning towards, is the whole street thing, this, because that's probably what the boys he was running around with in that neighborhood was on. But I think it's more they're just reaching to try to be normal than, you know, these super thugged out characters. Because it ain't like he got a long ass rap sheet. He ain't been caught with no guns, no dope. You know, he ain't been rumored to be in no gangs, nothing like that. It's just wanting to fit in and be normal. And so I think that's what we miss a lot on this shit is you dealing with kids who are born into a situation that's not normal, and the motherfuckers just want to be a normal ass kid.
So yeah, what you were saying though, Tommy, that's why we have to look at what we're looking at it is just from the angle of what would we do and bring it to our own situation, bring it to where it's not a judgment. That's why I use this one with T.I. and his son. But like I said, just by the only thing we can go off of what we know. This is not a judgment type of thing when it comes down to they're just bad parents. He's just it's kind of like, nah, let's bring the question up because it's not just for them. We all knew other people, either family members or people in our neighborhoods and things like that, just like the perspective that you just gave. Man, let me tell you, Detroit used to be so much goddamn fun, man. The 70s and the 80s, the east side of Detroit, on the west side of Detroit. And I'm telling you, it was so much fucking fun. And I was the only child at that time. It was boring as fuck. I had a mother and a father. My life was boring. But every time I went over and spent the night at my cousin's house, I wanted to stay the whole damn weekend because I got a chance to do over there what I couldn't do in my own neighborhood. That's probably why now I can afford to live in the suburbs, but I decide to live in just a regular ass community. I can't stand not being around. I lived in rural areas. I lived in suburbs, and I stayed in just regular ass neighborhoods where you got your neighbor right next door to you. I love those neighborhoods because it's community.
Because it's the community. Like you said, it's the community. A lot of these suburbs and where T.I. and them stay at, that's not even a suburb. That's elite. And that's even more separated from community than a suburb.
That's right.
Yeah. So I was the same as you. Like I had a friend that stayed in the suburbs, and I used to go out there, you know, and hang out with him and his friends and stuff. And like you said, it's boring. It's, you know, your friends live, you know, way over here. You know, it's a different environment. I think for us, when we talk about the hood, we focus so much on the negative that you forget like what you're talking about, the fun parts of it. I think when you talk about like when you watch these movies and you hear these songs, you think every day shit getting shot up. That's not it. You know, it's no different than like Mandrill. Like when you go to war, every day ain't a fucking shootout. Most of the days it's just boring and calm as fuck. It's the same thing in the hood. Most of the days are calm, cookouts, water fights, football, basketball, It's just that when those actions happen, it overshadows just a normal day because nothing sticks out from a normal day. It's just a normal day. Now, when somebody shoots, it's on the news. Everybody's talking about it, yada, yada, yada. So you tend to ignore the normal days because they're normal days. But if you really look at your experience growing up in the hood, especially as a kid, it's a lot more positive than negative. Like I said, you forget about the running around. We used to be like 20 deep on bikes. I think about now, like as an adult, I would have lost my mind. Literally the whole street filled with bikes. You know what I'm saying? But you don't remember that because, like I said, the bad stuff sticks out way more than just the normal stuff. And so, like I said, so when I seen this situation with him, instead of me thinking like, oh, he's a rich kid trying to be hood, I'm like, no, he's a celebrity kid trying to be a little bit normal.
Tommy, let me ask, because I heard you say, you know, your parents raised you one way, you rebel. If you had a son who got up in his years, teenage years, whatever, because I don't know if you heard how far back you heard when Trey was talking about, could it be almost an envy, not envy. I forgot what word you said, Trey.
Admiration.
Admiration, thank you. So Tommy, if you had a son who actually admired, like when he heard how you rebelled, how you were strong, how you didn't give up, and then he wanted to emulate that and actually do that, even though you worked hard to give him better, what would you say, or what would you do? How would you bond with him?
So the funny thing is my son is only 4 right now, and literally I'm seeing the reverse of me. Like, I mean, just everything he does is reminding me of him. And so I think for me, because I experienced myself growing up, I think I can better kind of parent that than say maybe my pops or whatever. Also, like, I think part of like what I went through too is like I had ADD that was never treated. And so I kind of see that in my son. It's not, for him, it hasn't been diagnosed, but I'm just noticing his actions and stuff, and he's super energetic and this, that, and the other. I'm not going to put him on drugs, but I'm just saying it's stuff that I would pay attention with him that wasn't paid attention to me. I tell people all the time, like a lot of times I would go into the room and sit down and do homework. Any fucking thing would distract me. If I heard a pin drop, if I heard a door open, if I heard a bird fly by, it just took my attention. And so for me, if I notice that with him now, I have the experience that I went through that, and it's something that I can dress appropriately. For me, I just got my ass beat. For me, I would handle that differently with him. But I think another thing too is you kind of have to watch the influences. So for me, my influence was my older brother. He never pushed me down that path, but that's the dude I looked up to. That's my older brother. That's my guy. 4 years older than me. To this day, that's my guy. And I think a lot of people miss that part too, is your dad, like I never did not look up to my dad, but my brother was closer to me in range. So that was like my guy, you know what I'm saying? Because we could kind of more connect. We dressed the same, listened to the same music, etc., etc. So it was more of a connection there. And so I saw what he was doing, and I'm on that. And so, you know, like my dad's married or was married. My brother was, you know, like I said, he's 4 years older than me. I'm seeing him go get chicks. In my brain, if I'm, you know, 12 and he's 16, I'm watching my dad's married. Cool. I'm 12. I'm not thinking about that shit. I'm watching my brother come home with numbers back in the day when we had to write them down on paper. But he coming home with numbers. Oh, shit, I want that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of stuff that I was taught that kind of influenced me. And then on top of that, too, being in the neighborhood that I was in, all of my partners was into that shit. So it was, and I think a lot of people miss that too, is as much as you want to influence your kids, them friends and siblings, a lot of times will influence that kid more than the actual parent. Because if you really look at it, with us working and having our own lives and stuff like that, those are the people that spend more time with your kids than you actually do. If you really add up the hours and stuff. When I used to go outside playing, me and my friends was playing for 8-9 hours. I come back in the house, I'm asleep. So realistically in the day, I might have spent 2 or 3 hours with my parents compared to 8 or 9 hours with my partners outside running around and stuff. And that's not a parenting thing because I'm outside playing. It's not like I'm outside doing nothing crazy. But when you start adding up the hours, it's like in your head, you would think that you spent more time with your parents because that's who you live with. But if you actually look at it, it's like, nah, you actually spent more time with your friends because if you add up the hours you was outside running around this, even if you think about school, you go to school, you spending what? 8 hours in school or whatever. A lot of people you go to school with is in your neighborhood. So when you get out of school, what you doing? You running with them again. So now you're looking at down there 12, 13, 14 hours with your friends. So that a lot of times that's going to be your influence, whether you like it or not. And hopefully, you know, you have a kid that's not super, you know, influenced or whatever. I have a daughter right now, and I don't just how she's made her personality. She's not influenced by shit. Like she got friends that do shit that I don't agree with, and she just does not partake in none of that shit. But that's also me paying attention to her and seeing how she's being influenced and stuff like that too. So I think that's also parenting too, and you can kind of see, you know, where your kid, how your kid is getting molded, who's molding, who's influencing them and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I appreciate your answer. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, anybody else got anything to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in. Great topic tonight. You know, certainly I wouldn't be the poster child for, I guess, respect of parents growing up. As I've shared many times on this platform, my mom, she was a diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic from birth. So, you know, I had a lot dealing with that. My dad, he was a heavy drinker, and they were separated essentially since I was born. So I you know, living with both of them, it got to points where by the time I started getting 12, 13, I just started rebelling. And I called my mom pretty much every name in the book. My dad at times also when I lived with him. I started living with my dad when I was 14. And again, so that was just growing pains, just, you know, just being sick and tired of dealing with all that dysfunction. So I might be the last person to ask about, you know, how you should respect your parents and all that kind of stuff, because, you know, just the situation that I grew up in, I just reached a breaking point. But what I'm certainly happy with, though, is like in their latter years, I'm the youngest of 5, and in the latter years, I was their primary caretaker until my dad died back in 2018. My mom, I was still taking care of her now. So I think time does have a way, and life experience of your own, you becoming a parent of your own, I think that will mature you a lot of ways to, you know, look at things that, you know, obviously my mom's sickness wasn't something that she could control. But me as a kid, not understanding that, I'm just the brunt of it. I'm getting the beatings, I'm getting the whoopings because she imagined something that never happened. And just the verbal abuse that I would get oftentimes from my dad trying to toughen me up, calling me every name in the book, thinking that'll make me tough. And that didn't necessarily do the job either. So, you know, but again, he was a product of the environment that he grew up in. So again, sometimes you don't necessarily understand that as a kid, but you hope that, you know, over time, as you mature and you start understanding how your life is shaping up. And, you know, one thing for sure is you definitely want to do things differently from what your parents did. And so with my kids, I never beat my kids. I never beat my daughters. You know, definitely my wife and I were very intentional about doing things differently. But, you know, certainly, again, as we grew, we started to be able to look outside of our situation and look at these were just people who were just, you know, they're from the deep South. They, you know, came from a different time. They had their own traumas, not with other siblings and whatnot, and they were just products of the environments that they grew up in. So I think that even with these dysfunctional relationships, I think given time, possibly therapy or church, or, you know, you turn to Jesus or whatever method that you take there, you know, there is a way you can look at things in a better light that doesn't constantly sort of weigh you down. And, you know, that there can be a place of respect that you get to eventually, and admiration and love for, you know, for what they were able to do despite the meager things that they had. But Tommy B, I think, really nailed a lot of points I was going to make, especially the last one when he was talking about your influencers generally are going to, you know, those guys that your peers are going to have a lot more emphasis oftentimes than your parents do. And I remember, I think World Class mentioned this one time, talking about mentorship and how mentorship should come from people who are not that much older than you. I mean, that whole Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi thing with a 70-year-old man and a 15-year-old kid thing, that may be good in a movie, but if you really want to influence, it's the people. If you're a teenager, that young adult in his early 20s is probably going to have a lot more influence on how you move, because you can sort of see them aspirationally and strive to be where they are. Whereas your parents, you know, that's just like another dynamic. They may have authority over you over a certain time, but like Tommy was saying, like a big brother or, you know, an older sibling in general, I don't think there's really any substitute for that. So, you know, definitely I agree with what Tommy was saying there. And as far as Mandrell, what he was saying earlier about, you know, not having to go through certain things, whatever, but I think that just as human beings, I think we all, for the most part, I think life is about struggle to an extent. And I think when you take people outside of a struggle, outside of the growing pains of life, we want to sort of assuage all that. I think, you know, we are missing something. And I think a lot of us, we can't even explain what we're necessarily searching for. But, you know, that those times where it was hard when your parents were growing up, I mean, I still today, I love hearing stories. I was at a party last week, had a couple friend of ours, they celebrated their 40th. And they just talked about just their struggle. I mean, they met in college and just the hardships they had growing up, you know, trying to get jobs in different areas, moving to different places or whatnot, but they're stronger now than ever. So, you know, it's a lot of times it's about the journey and the process, not just, okay, we're going to put you in this stable environment and everything's just going to be good from there. You know, it's like, you know, I think people have to overcome some things. And so, you know, and I see the issue with that now, especially in relationships today. It's like, I love those stories where we got married, we had nothing, we got the couch off the street, we lived in a 1-bedroom or over a garage or something like that, and you built from there. But now everybody wants to start out at 100. And my question is, what are you going to build then? You know, if I say I got my house, I got my car, I got my finances, I got 6 figures in the bank, I got everything. What are you going to build with that? Maybe try to have some kids or whatever. But the problem with that is you've been so independent for so long. Can you even come together and be on one accord with anybody? So I think there's something about just a human experience that demands a certain level of struggle in order to make it meaningful, that you can look back over your life and say where you were and where you are now. And I think a lot of people are looking for that. I think a lot of for kids, you know, we channel them into like sports and other activities to keep them occupied and whatnot, so they can kind of get a glimpse of that. But some of us, we had to come up the hard way, and it makes us, I think, a lot more appreciative of where we are now. You know, you don't look at it as like, you know, we don't have that entitled mentality, which we're complaining that a lot of these kids have. And the last thing I would say is, I was thinking about this. I think, Doc, we spoke about on your last podcast. Like, I almost think to an extent, you know, shouldn't there be a time when your son, I'm only talking about boys, I'm not talking about girls here necessarily, but boys, shouldn't there become a point in time where your son should be able to kick your butt? And I mean kick your butt and not be you not 80 years old and an invalid. You know, it's like this, like in nature, in biology, it's like, look, you know, the you're always trying to generate the stronger line that comes after you. That's natural. That's biology. That's cells. That's viruses. That's bacteria. I mean, COVID is like it metastasizes and it becomes stronger than before. That's why you always take a flu shot every year, because the strain is stronger than before. So are we even raising sons to really be able to take us out? Or are we always raising our sons to always be in fear of us, saying, like, I'm always your father and I can always kick your butt? But shouldn't we kind of be raising our sons to literally take over, and to take over the family and take over the tribe and be like, all right, you got it. It's like, that martial arts analogy. You can take this coin out of my hand. You're the master now, something like that. I mean, shouldn't we be raising our sons with this attitude of, yeah, I do want my son to be dominant. I do want him to, he might have to lead this, and I might not be here till 80. If I jump out of here, early in my 50s or whatever, and my son has to take over, is he even equipped to be the man? But if we always want to have this one-upsmanship on our sons, now I keep thinking about that movie Fences. I mean, that was a weak son that he raised, but it's almost like he wanted him to be. He wanted his son to be always intimidated by him, but he never wanted his son to be better than him. And so I think about that, are we doing a disservice? And then we complain about the sons that we're raising. Oh, they're weaker than us. They're not as strong as us. They didn't go through as much as us. But are we in part to blame for that? Which is a question that's been asked a lot of times in these spaces. So those are just some thoughts that I had. But yeah, I think about that sometimes. Like, if I had sons, and I want him to get to a point where, okay, we put them gloves on, and he gets me, I'll be like, all right, you got me.
Yeah.
and I'll be happy about it, because, all right, I taught him well, which I think that's the whole point. I should be teaching him to its extent where he should be able to, assume, some authority down the line. But
the only pushback, Mr. Bennett, I would get is, I agree with you in theory that your son, you want him to be stronger, but not for your family, for his own. That's the only change I would make. That, yeah, I want my son to be better, bigger, faster, stronger, but not for my family, for his own.
You don't think I got
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, I got you. But and that was assumed that he would certainly have his own. But I'm also thinking kind of old school, like, okay, I would think at some point they may have to care for you, just like I care for my parents now. I need to, because there's some siblings of mine. I was like, there's some who can't, and there's some who can't. In other words, there's some that don't have the mental, the patience to do it, and then some are just because they're not in the area, so they're not prepared for whatever. So so there may come a point in time where your girls may have to take care of you. I know you.
I agree with you.
May have to take care of you.
I agree with you there. What I'm saying is it's subtle.
Somebody got some feedback.
Right, somebody does that. But I agree with you, Mr. I'm not even arguing with you. The fact is that I would say that if he's strong enough to be in charge of his own family, that as a derivative, he'd take care of his parents if he could. You know what I'm saying?
And that's my point.
But that's the only point I make. So I mean, it's just the way it's worded. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I would just say these two videos that JT showed, both of those sons would be premature for that conversation. They'll be because I don't know when you heard. I don't know if you heard when Trey said that's kind of a normal routine where family members, uncles, cousins, who are you talking to? Calm down, right? So I think these two sons, especially that first video, I don't know how far back you saw Mr. Bennett. I don't think that son is ready to quite.
You mean the sassy one? You mean the
sassy kind of one? You can put my stuff down. Put my stuff down. So that passing of the coin, I don't think that father would even trust. Like, you're not even having that conversation.
Right, but it's the father. But it's the father even trying, and that's my point. It's like you're setting up. Are you setting up your sons to fail because you're not trying to get them to do it? You always trying to be top dog, and you always I'm still top dog, and I don't care if I'm 80 years old. I'll still take that mindset. Is it really hurting us?
Here's the thing. I'm a firm believer in I'll teach you everything you know, but I'm not going to teach you everything I know. And so this idea that if you can come from the throne, then come for it. Come get it.
But you're not. But
because even in the lion world, you got to go beat the top dog. he ain't gonna give it to you. If you want the right to be able to mate, you gotta go beat the top dog. So if I'm the top dog, come get the throne.
But you have
to
loaded
you
the
have
games,
to wait
right?
until I'm 85. You just have to wait till I'm 85.
You loaded the games, right?
I have sons.
But you're loading the game because you already admitted that you're not going to give your son everything because you do not want to be beat. So again,
because I'm more equipped to lead the family. Until you prove that you can lead by being better than me, I'm still more equipped until the day I'm no longer equipped to do it.
But where's he gonna get? But where's he gonna get that what you're holding on to?
Like I said, I'm gonna teach you everything you know, but I'm not teaching you everything I know.
But I think from Ryan's story, Mr. Bennett,
that seems like a loaded game to me.
I do have sons. I do have young adult male sons right now. And when I just use my own life, my father was in my life every day. I picked up all of his talents. My father was talented in football, but I was able to be a good football player and basketball player. I never forget the day when I saw the transition shift with me and my father. We were playing basketball. And I probably made it 20, 21. When I got to that age, I knew he could no longer beat me. And he knew it. He stopped even saying, you want to do this? You want to do that? So my sons were younger. They were 12, 13. That's when I started giving them everything I was getting. Everything I was giving, I was talking. I was showing them. I'm like, look, one day you want to beat me. I know it. I can see it in your eyes. But until you are prepared, I'm going to beat you every time. So when you get out here amongst your peers, you're going to be competitive. You ain't got to win them all, but you're going to be competitive. And you're not going to quit based on the fact that you came into a little adversity. Because you'll never beat me. Now, it got to a point where they could beat me. I stopped. Listen, but once they got there, I told them, I said, you ready? I said, now you go and you build everything, because only thing I can do now is support you if you need me. But other than that, you have to go out and be the man that you've been preparing to be. Life is not going to give you anything. You have to set yourself, avoid these pitfalls that a lot of people get in, or else you will struggle. I'm not the babysitting granddaddy. And my children, none of them have children. I'm not that guy. Now, 65, bring them over. I'm going to feed them with sugar, send them back to you. Because I want you to get a taste of what you gave me so you can understand, like, okay, I got to be a better person. It's all about going to each level. Now, if I got a daughter, too. I told her at 6 years old, you have to play a sport because I do not believe in fat children. She cried for 2 days. Guess what she did? Ended up being a national champion tumbler, a state champion cheerleader, based off those conversations. And today, at 30 years old, she graduated college. Listen, y'all got a little son out there, 30, 32, want a wife, light skin with the good hair, whatever. That ain't me, but she got a little bit of it. But
what if she's practicing in your house?
That's right. Now,
what if she's tumbling in your house and you say, hey, you ain't going to be making breakfast in here.
I make spaces for her to always have that space. I make spaces for her. I'm an outside guy, so I'm taking you where I grew up on the streets. We doing flips in the back on some boxes, on some old mattresses. We going to the park, you getting it out. I taught my children how to swim at an early age because I didn't want them to have deficiencies, because I read, swimming can knock out ADHD. Playing soccer, like Miss Becky takes her kids to play soccer to run out that ADHD. We out in the sun. My children don't sit in the house. You can't even shut a door until you get to a certain point. But again, that was me. It didn't work for everybody. I just understood based off what I was given by my mother and father, because when I turned 18, it's my last thing, I graduated high school. I was a middle child, so I was by myself. Greatest accomplishment for me, my mother, father, Monday morning, I'm sleeping. I probably went to bed Monday morning about 2. She come waking me up at 8:30. Boy, get up. I'm looking like, what you mean? Mom, you need a damn job. You're not going to sit around my house and think you gonna lay up on me. You gonna, Mom, I'm going to college. I'll be gone next week. I was gone next week. I was getting gift boxes within 2 weeks. She was like, yes. And I appreciate those type of bringing, those type of structures that I had in my life, because once I started passing it to my children, because I learned from other people. And once I started doing that, they could see like, Daddy's real about this. Daddy's really trying to help me. And they, man, I'm glad you didn't do this. I'm glad you did that. Because my friend right here, my sister got a son, hell of a football player, AB student. He started getting into the street, started rapping. Dude got 8 years in the Fed right now. Tried to sell drugs.
That's your question.
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. I mean, because I'm not sure if where Mr. Bennett was going was actually moving the post, but I just wanted to add, because I don't think Mr. Bennett, you threw this part in the conversation, which may change it. The gangsters, like mob and all that, where they say eventually my son is going to take over the business. Eventually, but I have to know when you're ready, so I'm going to teach you. And then when I think you're at that point, I'm actually going to hand you the keys. I think that's different than the lion, who you need to come beat my ass, and when you do, you get these 5 other coochies with you too. That's different. So I just want to throw that in there because back to those videos, the king and the 5. But back to those videos, I wonder if those guys are at that stage
Lion
where
King.
father would feel comfortable to have that exchange, or just still in the teaching. So that's the only part I want to
they're not, but I'm saying, but is that in fact part of the problem? I think both analogies work, whether it be the lion or the mob boss or whatever. But the idea is that if you're going to be, do you have the skills, or are you being given the skills? Are you being trained in order to do that? Them lions, they see the mom hunting, they see the the play, the rough housing that the cubs do with one another. So again, a lot of that stuff is being fleshed out. So then, like I was going to ask Trey F. I was going to ask, was like, now again, when your sons finally beat you, but you didn't hold anything back from them though. I'm assuming, right? I mean, you gave them. That's what I'm saying. You gave them everything that you had. They then had to certainly perfect that, and then get to a point where they could beat you. And what I'm hearing from the other Trey is saying, I'm still gonna have these 2 jokers in my hand, so that if you even try to come up to me, I'm gonna still slap you down. So to me, it's still a little.
No,
it's a little different.
No. I'm saying, if you earn it, you got it. Here's the thing: the teaching doesn't stop after you beat me. If you beat me, that doesn't mean, again, I taught you all you know. Once you beat me, now I can start to teach you what I know. You earned it. I think a lot of the problem, even with this situation with King, a lot was given to him. I'm not completely sure how much of what he has was earned.
And that is true.
Yeah. But
and so in this particular situation, I'm not saying you can't have the throne. You can absolutely have it. You just got to come take it. And then once you get on the throne, there's some, nuances, idiosyncrasies that I need to teach you about being on this throne.
Yeah. Yeah, like the Godfather. I mean, the Vito still.
That's a great example.
He became the concierge to Michael after he took over. After he was the dude.
But it doesn't mean that you're not there with me. You're there with me.
Understood.
Understood. You know what I mean?
I'm saying, but I'm talking about, again, the prep. I'm talking about the preparation. Are we preparing our kids to take over at a certain time, and really where we can kind of step back? Like, I wouldn't mind, like, at a certain point, I want to be able to step back and just relax as, hey, if something happens, the kids got or whatever, like, I don't have to be on like all the time. Like, I kind of look forward to retiring from the idea of having to be the man all the time. I mean,
That's the conversation I have with my daughters, Mr. Bennett.
Mr. Bennett.
That's the conversation I have with my daughters. I told my daughters the reason why I want you to be married is so I can rest at night, so I can stop covering. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I said, because I said right now, and I gave them examples. One of my daughters out of the house, I said, listen, I'm still covering. Right? You're traveling, you're working, you're making your own money, but I'm saying the reason why I want to know where you're going, especially if you leave the country, is so I can have a trail. Something happens to you, I need to know what's going on. You don't need my permission to go, but you got to tell me, right? My daughter who lives here, When she leaves this house, she tells me every single time that she leaves this house, she's a grown woman. I know when she's at work. I know when she comes home. I know when she goes to guitar practice or the band and all that kind of stuff. So she, so I said, listen, so this is one of the reasons why I want y'all to be married, so I can have a guy that I trust to take care of you guys, because y'all need to be covered, right? And so it's funny, my wife came in and she chimed in and she told them a story of a 91-year-old man still covering his 71-year-old daughter.
Mm.
And I just shut up and let her speak.
Let me say,
Right.
let me say this. Let me
Go
say this.
ahead.
Bennett, hold on. But I'm glad you mentioned that thing, because it was something I was trying to tell a few months back. Culture different from people from the African diaspora. We are trained in that very young youth that we have to take the banner. We have to take our Latin to the next level. For example, I didn't know there was an issue among my peers. I have a high school friend of mine who took over his father's business in Nigeria, but he wasn't the oldest son. He was actually like the second or the third son. Now, this boy's father was well known back in our youth. He owned a car dealership. And everybody thought his oldest brother would take over the business. Not realizing he surpassed his older brother, took the business of that car dealership and made it to a manufacturing company that manufactured car, truck, and SUV. 5 locations in Nigeria, now but 1 location in Ghana. Now, I didn't know that was the case. I thought he was the oldest, not like he wasn't the oldest. But like he said, like Trey said, he earned the throne. He took over. There's a lot of prominent family in Nigeria who built the business from ground up and got it striving. And they have their kid watch and learn how the father run the business. And they want to figure out who would take over the business when I'm gone. It's always a battle. Who the next one to the throne? Who the next one will take over? Who the next one will be responsible for it? Perfect example, Ford. And when we started the history of Ford Motor, they don't let just anybody take over the business. You have to earn the right to be the one who take over the position. Because they're not gonna let no spoiled rotten kid come in and take over something that the past 4 or 5 generations have went through blood, sweat, and tear to build the business for what it is. We have that culture dynamic in our own people. If I build a business, if I don't trust my kid to take over, I'll give it to the cousin who earned the right to take over the business. I know it may sound shady, but why would I give my business to my son and daughter who have not learned the aspect of how to run the business when they're not qualified enough to do so?
But that's the question. But that's a question for you then, right? Why aren't they? And again, everyone's human. I think Tommy B made that point. Everyone's going to be different. That some people just don't have it or whatever. There's always a Fredo in the family. You know what I mean? So I get that. But that's something that I would hope that along the way you're giving every opportunity for those kids to be able to learn and to take on and what they need to be prepared.
And this why it starts early.
That, then you go to that other plan that you're talking about.
And then what I say, if you ask anybody who from besides my country, any other African, why they come here and they're pushing themselves so hard, because it's been ingrained in them. Because if they fail, it's like they fail their family name. If I say our last name means something to us, we don't take our last name for granted. No, it's a big deal. Because when you stain that last name, people in your community know who you are. They know who your father, know who your mother, know your family. So when you do something wrong, that thing stick with you for a long period of time. You become back to you, becomes a stain. That's why in our culture different. What we do at the young generation got to take over the old generation. We have to realize we got a lot on our shoulder. We can't mess up. We cannot F up. When we F up, it makes us look bad, but it makes our family look bad even more. Then when I tell a lot of people from the African diaspora, African American people, they think we just making this thing up. No. When you hang around people who are diligent and not playing around, they mean it. When you have people who come here who little to nothing in their pocket, build a business that it got so successful, no one even knew that they owned that business. But when we want to pass it out to the next generation, they're not trying to pass it out to just anybody. Besides African, look at the Irish. Look at the Jap. They have that same mindset. I'm not going to pass on something I worked so hard, blood, sweat, and tears
It's 0 hours.
The prostitute Ingrid, who was not serious about putting the effort into it. That is the big deal. That's what I say. As a parent, I have to make sure I'm constantly on my kid. Yes, Tommy B is correct. Kids have their own personality. They will do what they want to do regardless. But at the end of the day, there will come a time they want to have that inheritance. That's why we talk about legacy so much. We build a legacy passed down to the next. We're not trying to take it and keep it to ourselves. All about me. No. If I'm working my ass off, it's for my kids and for my children's children. Meaning, I want my grandkid to be able to be a part of this.
Right.
I want my great grandkid to be a part of it. I'm not selfish. I would make the sacrifice so their life could be much easier. And I think somebody said the old generation work hard to make something great, but the next 5 generations got it easy, might waste it. That I understand. That is very logical.
The guy who talks for 2 hours straight says he's not selfish. I mean, I found that fascinating. But okay, so
really,
I forgot. I had something really interesting to say, but I honestly, I totally forgot. I have no clue as to what I wanted to say. I'm gonna have to start taking notes.
Long enough.
No, listen, I gotta talk to Black Men Unfiltered. Listen, I need some music to pay people off. I need some music to pay people off the stage, like they do at the Oscars and the award shows. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start doing that. Wow.
I told y'all need a shot clock.
I'm just Trey, that's a good idea.
I didn't talk that long. I didn't talk that long, but yet I was quite longer than most people. So you say that right now?
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I guess it was building up. Whatever.
Sir, you are the league leader. You are the league leader in words.
Wow,
league leader.
Yeah, but I'll say this. I agree with Trey. I come from the old school like that, and it was like that with me. Like my dad wasn't gonna teach me. He clearly didn't teach me everything he knew. Clearly didn't. And it was abundant. Like seriously, by the time I was 15 years old, Mr. Bennett, I knew then. Like 14, 15 years old, I knew he wasn't teaching me everything he knew. I knew it. You know what I'm saying? It was clear. This exact question is like, yeah, you'll figure it out. What? You know what I'm saying? I had questions that was his answer to me. You'll figure it out. I knew he wasn't, but I mean, I became a much better soldier than him. I was so much more of a better soldier because he was in the army too, but I was so much more and that was kind of like me taking the throne or whatever. Like then we had talks as men and then we exchanged ideas and talked about the stuff I learned and stuff like that. And he saw the kind of person that I grew up to be. He just kind of smiled. Didn't really have much else to say. You know what I'm saying? He passed away before we got a chance to really get to have man-to-man talks in earnest. Like I said, when I got out the army, out of nowhere, the guy just died. No rhyme, no reason. Perfectly healthy man. Nothing wrong with him at all. He just in his truck on the interstate on his way to church. Didn't make it. So I mean, I kind of Trey. Just I don't know. Even the doctors didn't know. The doctors were trying to resuscitate it. It's like, hey, listen, we got no. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, I agree, Trey. You do get the throne when you earn it. You gotta earn it. You want my throne? Yeah, take it. Come get it.
Yeah, and it is.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. Come get it.
Yeah, it's a certain thing that the dad is going to give you. Like he said, I'm gonna teach you everything you know, and everything else you're gonna have to acquire, right?
Yeah, and to clarify, I think it's more so JT. Everything you need to know. I'm gonna give you everything you need to know. Everything you need to make it in life. I'm gonna give you that. The rest,
it's not a malicious thing. I'm not setting you up for failure, but you're gonna earn this.
No. Yeah,
because I think you respect the throne more if you have to work for it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. You do. Because you remember
the path to life.
Agree with that.
The path to manhood.
I'm like Trey Ferg. I'm like Trey Ferg. Me and my father was very active. He was an athlete. His sport was baseball. But he played basketball. Also, he boxed. He did everything that he did. I actually ultimately did a little bit or a lot of both, of all. And until I was 13. I told the story last night. Until I was 13, I couldn't beat my father, right? Couldn't beat him. Could not beat him, and he had an ugly ass basketball game. I could not beat him.
Yeah, the old school game.
Jump shot. I mean,
The
that damn
old shot.
shot. That old pearl.
JT, did he break an ankle a couple of times?
Yes. And one of the reasons why was because he was a hack. So he ain't gonna let you. So I had to play strong. But when I beat him, I dunked on him, and I gloated, and it was just that's when
After how many broke an ankle? After how many broke an ankle he broke on you?
No. He was just my father.
See, CB, that's how I know you don't play basketball. Hacks don't break ankles. Hacks break shoulders,
They break your
and elbows.
I understand that. I play basketball. I'm a
So,
soccer guy.
JT, where did you find those 8 feet rims?
Let me tell you something. 13 or 15 years old, bro. I had hops, bro. I had hops. That was where, because I played with grown men at 10 and 12 years old. So I'm playing with grown men. So my father used to come up to the park also, him and his cousin, his first cousin. And they come with them ass Tennessee, Mississippi basketball. Like, they dribble was nasty, but you couldn't.
That's what I'm talking about. Like I said, playing with grown men, the best players. You always played. You never, whatever grade you were in, you always played with the older team. If you were AAU or anything, if you were 8 years old, you wanted to play with the 10-year-olds and so on and so forth. Again, that's what I'm talking about. Having, everyone wants to be, age appropriate. Nah, I mean, especially
I did that with soccer
boys,
and MMA.
You got to, it's got to be the next level up. You know what I mean? You got to be able to grow from there. You got to beat those guys, those older guys who are an inch or two taller than you, 20 pounds heavier than you. If you can do it there, then that's when you're advancing. So I agree. Having those younger kids around men that you're going to have to compete against. I mean, that's why a lot of these European basketball players, you didn't see in the 80s, you didn't see a lot of Euro players over here, but all those Euro players, I think Ricky Rubio got into the league. He played in international, I think 14 years old. He was playing professional basketball. Now you're seeing all these guys starting to come over here now, and they're starting to dominate the league. So yeah,
because they've been playing professional ball since they was 14.
Exactly, and you don't see a lot of these guys get into the trouble like these rookies getting into all the trouble or whatnot. You don't see who's the Ja Moran of Greece or whatever.
With that aspect,
guys are like,
the brothers
for soccer and
in
MMA
America,
in Nigeria, we did the same thing.
Unfortunately, what we talking about the man pretty much grooming the son. But what do our numbers say in America? Over 67% of our boys are not groomed by the father.
Yeah.
So this is just where we are. That's just and in T.I. situation, I think it's going to come back to hurt the son more than anything. I think what he's doing, the worst thing he can do right now is isolate himself from his father, because now he's going to be putting himself in compromising positions in the streets because he's trying to live up to an image that really ain't him. Believe me, light-skinned skin is too soft to be thinking you're going to be out there talking about you up and somebody.
Yeah, he don't know. He don't need to go inside. No, he definitely don't need to go inside.
But somebody's going to challenge him. Somebody's going to challenge him. Somebody's going to challenge him sooner than later.
And he got that donkey mouth too with those big horse teeth and shit. Man, he ain't going, man.
Oh, hell no. Oh.
But I'm just saying though, see, if you can see it as a man, he's not seeing it because he's feeding, he's being absorbed by the attention that he feel like he's getting.
Yeah.
So it's going to hurt him. It's going to hurt him. And the worst thing he can do is isolate himself from his father. So
yeah,
it's gonna be bad.
I was saying,
I need to drop. But good combo. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully, I'll see some of you guys on Friday night. You guys
Friday night. We'll see you guys Friday night.
All right.
Go ahead and wrap this up here. Me and Mandrell.
All right, ladies. Later, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all have it. I'll see y'all on Friday.
All right, Trey. Hey, man. Y'all take it easy, man.
What are we talking? What are y'all talking about on Friday?
Black man has a. I don't know what the title means, but it's a stand up in it. And it has a little boy with his fists up. So it's gonna be some barbershop shit. But you know how black men do it. You don't know until once he break it on out. He be trying to surprise us and shit.
Yeah, cool. But listen, my online personal training business has been up and running for a while, full swing for a while now. So I guess people don't know. Listen, people, if you're interested in that, go to my Instagram page. It's Mandrill_21. Go to my profile page, click the link, and schedule a free consultation. The first consultation is free. You don't have to buy anything. I'm not going to twist your arm to buy anything. We're just going to talk and figure out what your needs are, and see if I can help you with that. I know. Like I said, it comes on the app on your phone. Comes on the phone app. The meal plan comes with it too. It's all in the app. Huh?
Can I put it on my page also?
Put what on your page?
Put your advertisement.
Yeah. Put it as many places as you want. Let everybody know about it.
I think I have to do it because I was trying to share. Remember, I was telling you about the Facebook one. I couldn't do it, but I know what I can do. I can just share it on my IG, and it's going to automatically go to my Facebook page.
Yeah. Tell everybody. I mean, I see people up here on these panels. Y'all need to lose weight.
Not me. Shit. Look at that.
You need to gain weight. I need to help you put it. I can do that too. Every meal plan and every workout routine is custom made to each and every individual person. I write a whole new workout routine for every single client individually. For sure. Because everybody's needs are different. Some people don't like going to the gym. So I got to write a program that doesn't include going to the gym. It's much more difficult, and your results ain't going to be, I want a beach body. Go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. You want a beach body? Yeah, go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Well, and then the ladies should know with ladies, like, I don't want to get big and bulky. I'm like, no, those ladies who get big and bulky, they're taking performance enhancers, and they go on special diets to look like that. Like, women ain't gonna get that big without doing it on purpose.
Right.
Just lifting weights ain't gonna make you that big, ladies. It's not. Your female anatomy won't allow you to get like that. Just like us. We're not gonna get on the bodybuilder stage with like Mr. Olympia. I'm like, every single one of those guys on steroids, right? Every single one of them. The human body will not allow you to get that big without help. It just won't. Your body won't allow it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You tear your muscles up, they ain't gonna even be able to recover that goddamn fast. So.
No, they're not. There's no way. Even your body will get to a point where it's just like, okay, I'm done growing.
Yeah, that's it.
Your body. It's like, this is all I'm gonna give you, and it ain't gonna be that big. Nowhere near it. But yeah, I take care of everybody. Yeah, I help everybody. I help you. Whatever kind of body you want, I write the program that you need, and I'm gonna work with you. I do weekly coaching sessions, check-in sessions, where I check in with everybody each week. It's a case for accountability and motivation. I think that's a big review I got from everybody. Like, they like that, the weekly check-in sessions. You know what I'm saying? Because we get into like what they did that week, how they feel. Okay, what's your weight now? I got one client, he's losing a ton of weight. He's doing real good.
Yeah, I might have to just talk to you about just because I don't want to gain too much. I just want to gain, 25, what I'm saying, 25 pounds is probably good enough for me. But definitely
a muscle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. I'm about done with that whole thing, trying to be extreme with it. You know what I'm saying? That was in my younger year.
Yeah. You're in your 50s now, JT. Like,
I injured myself trying.
Right. One of my streams, I think my last one I did with Freezy. The last one I did with Freezy, I told Freezy, there's some exercises I'm getting ready to retire. He said, really? I said, yeah, in about 5 years when I hit 50. The barbell squat? Nope. The bench press? Nope. I'm retiring those two.
Right.
And people use the bench press as a benchmark for strength. Like, how much you bench, bro? How much you bench? Like, when you're young, you're growing up, you think that's a good, measurement for how strong you are. But then you actually get into sports science and you learn and you educate. You're like, That was a good one.
Once I started boxing, I wasn't even on bench press anymore. I was on reps. Everything was reps. Everything that I did was reps. So yeah,
That's better for building muscle anyway. That's better for building muscle anyway.
Yeah.
You pick a challenging weight, a weight that challenges the muscle, but doesn't exhaust it at the 5 or 6 reps. Pick a weight that challenges the muscle and rep out with it. Like I remember, I can get 225. I can get that like 22 times. And people like, you can't get 25 of them. I'm like, that's 3 more reps. What's the difference?
Right.
It's 3 more reps. What's the difference?
It's a muscle or something.
Right. Yeah, but they'll see me go up to 315 and I'll come back down. They're like, why don't you lift more than 315? If I lift 315 pounds, if I go out there and get my ass, if I go out there and get my ass whooped, strength wasn't my problem.
Right. Should have been zigging when you was zagging.
You should have been zigging when you was zagging. You need to be, if you get 315, okay, now it's time to start working on other stuff.
Right.
You good with 315. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember I got up to like with 405 one point in time, right? And that's when it hit me. I was like, what? Wait, why did I do this? The 6-pack was it because you have to gain weight to lift that much weight. You do have to gain fat, like mass. You know, so the 6-pack was gone. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like the way I looked, didn't like the way I felt.
Right.
So lifting 405 pounds ain't worth it. It ain't. And so sure enough, I started losing weight. That 405 went away too.
Shit, the 405, that
was the point.
Shit, your joints could start up on you.
Right. Yeah. I started getting aches.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, wait, why is the back of my shoulder aching? You know, what the hell is this?
You know what you
everything, everything in the bench press is in the front. You know what I'm saying? It's in the front of my leg. Wait, why is the back of it hurting?
You was just lifting a Volkswagen. Shit.
Right.
For
It's
sure.
a trip. But yeah, what I learned is that people are worried about the wrong things a lot of times when it comes to fitness and health. They're largely worried about the wrong things, and they think they know what to do, but they really don't. What I told one client, and he didn't get pissed when I said this. I said, "Well, if you knew what you were doing, why are you in the shape that you're in?"
Right.
At first, he kind of got piffed, but I was like, "It's an honest question."
Right. Put your feelings in your back pocket.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, well, I put it aside for a while. I said, well, if you knew what you were doing, you would have put it aside for a while.
Right.
If you knew what you were doing, you knew how important your health was and how much of a priority it should be. It should be very high up on that priority list. Top 5.
I'm a drip. Hey, what's going on, girlie?
Look at Caramel Drip. Hey, hi, Caramel Drip. How you doing? Yeah, she's cool. She watches my content over on the Big Picture.
Okay, yeah, she's a great supporter, man. Great supporter.
Yeah. I'm grateful to have her over there. Yeah, I'm grateful to have her over there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's get out of here, brother.
All right, then.
When I get on the social media, I definitely get because I got a couple of people that'll be interested. So
just tell them to talk to me. I mean, it's just like hiring an actual personal trainer. It's just not as expensive.
Okay.
It's online, so it's like so instead of you paying me like X amount of dollars per session, like what you would pay me per session, you would pay me in a week. But I will write you a program for as many days in a week that you want. So if you say you want to work out 7 days a week, I'll write you a program where you working out 7 days a week.
Okay.
Say you want to go to the gym 3 days a week, but you want to do cardio the other days. I'll write that. And plus, I'm listening to that person, listen to the medical history, and I do a good job of gauging. Okay, I don't recommend you do this much of that. So I recommend you do more of this than that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, because people do kind of injure themselves and stuff like that, doing the wrong kind of training the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, it's personalized to every person, individual. No one, it's not a one size fit all. Everybody has their different limitations and things that they're good at. So I personalize it to every individual person.
That's good. You custom make it like that, bro.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, so it works like this. We have the initial consultation. If they decide to go with the services, I say, okay. I send them a link. They click on the link. They start a profile, right? They start their own username and password and stuff like that, and they pay for it. So when they pay for it, they do the username and password. I even negotiate with that. Like, how often? Like, how do you want the payments to go? You can pay all up front for like 3 months, 4 months, 1 month, whatever it is you want to do. Because the 1 month is just a trial. It's just a 4-week trial. But you can go 3 months, 4 months. You pay it all up front if you want to. You want to pay every month if you want to, or every week. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like that. It breaks down to about $60.
Right. This is all off your app. This is off of your app, right?
Yeah.
The
what?
Communication and everything. When you communicate, or do you use?
Well, you can communicate with me through the app. There's a messenger system in there. You can see me text messages through the app, or like let's say we do weekly coaching sessions, which is virtual call like this.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We either do it through Zoom or I use StreamYard, and it's a private thing. No one knows that you're there. Mm-hmm. It's not recorded, so no one's gonna see you. No one's gonna know you're there. No one's gonna know you hired me. None of that. It's all confidential. So like what you pay me like in one session, you pay me for a week.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, like tell me, it's 3 times more expensive to hire me as an in-person trainer. 3 times more expensive.
Right. Right.
But you know what? I mean, like that was the mind-blowing part for me, man. I was like, all right.
So, all right, man. Well, it's time to go ahead and go.
Yeah.
Don't forget, this Friday, y'all, we got the barbershop stand up in it. We got the usual suspects.
Yep. Hopefully, and as you see tonight, I improved the show when I showed up. It got better.
Yeah, whatever.
You can't listen. Good effort, JT. I would say, but
everything is cap, y'all.
Poor execution, man. JT. You can't listen.
You can stop it.
Thank you. You can stop it, JT. JT, you can stop it. You're not me. Listen, you can't take over my show. I mean, I see you let people up, JT, and yes, you're very generous with my thing.
We can go in.
And yes, JT, you're very generous with my things. Okay, but we're gonna close it out, everybody. Thanks for coming out. God bless you. Good night.